Without
What's going on, everybody? Well, I'm back here to bring you nonstop content. You know how it goes. If this is your place for nonstop political content, I'm actually about to start uploading. Make sure my sound is correct. I'm actually about to start uploading videos, political analysis, breaking stuff down. I have a series I want to start on YouTube, so look out for that. Make sure you're subscribed because that's going to be coming shortly here. I'm sure you guys will like that. I think you will. Hey, Madison finally caught the YouTube live. Let's go. Make sure you're subscribed. There should be gifts available now. You guys can also contribute to the gifting goal. All those things should be working perfectly fine. So you guys can see everything and all that. Oh, that's what I meant to do. I wanted to check this really quick. Airborne Vet, what's going on, bro? Let me look this up real quick. Yeah, we're all good here. I would appreciate you guys hitting the thumbs up button and all that. Charcity, thank you for the $5 super chat, Charcity. Thank you so much, Charcity. Appreciate that. I really need to get my desk in order here. I'll do that tonight or something. But I have to like get this stuff cleaned up here because it's not. Guys, everything seems smooth, right? It's moving smooth. Just want to make sure I don't have to do a restart first. Should be smooth. Should be smooth as pie. Charcity, thank you for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate it. So Dems caved. You know, Democrats caved. Sucks. And I'm honestly tired of it. Honestly tired of it. Has everybody called like Tim Kaine? I need to call Tim Kaine. I need to call Tim Kaine. I really do. I should call him on live stream right fucking now. You know what? You know what? I should literally call him. What should I say, guys? What do you think I should say if I call right now? I just want to start cursing. What should I say? What should I say? You're the well spoken one. I am, but I'm so fueled with anger right now. I don't even know what to say. I just want to say really mean shit. Explain how Democrats are disappointing because they have no spine. Yeah. Well, first of all, if you're a Trump supporter, you're welcome to call in. I'd like to hear, if you're a Trump supporter, you certainly can call in. Obviously, I'm upset with what Democrats are doing right now. No fucking backbone as usual. All right, hold on. I don't even know. Let me see this. All right, I got a call. Hold on, let me do this call first.
Call from
Zeke.
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Currently.
What does that mean?
Who else would I support right now? Election's not for a while.
Doesn't matter. Did you vote for Trump and you're witnessing what's happening in this country?
Nope.
Right? You're witnessing.
I did not vote for Trump.
Okay, so you didn't vote for Trump,
I
but
am
you
witnessing what's happening in the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you
I
support
couldn't vote in the last election.
Okay, do you support what's happening in the country?
Not all of it.
Do you support the mass deportation?
Of illegal immigrants or legal immigrants or who?
Well, they've
I
accidentally
support
removed.
deportation of illegal immigrants.
Okay, why do you support that? What specifically do you think justifies supporting the removal of undocumented immigrants? Sheffy with the 5. Let's go, Sheffy.
Well, I believe that there's a process for getting into the country, and it's easier to run a country when you know who's there.
Okay.
And if an immigrant is undocumented and has entered illegally, I consider it similar to as if someone broke into a house.
Do you think the consequences of undocumented immigration, and by the way, you're over the age of 18, right?
Yeah.
Okay, how old are you?
Between 18 and 20.
You're scared to tell me.
Somewhere within that range.
Okay.
What?
Well, what? All right, I'll choose to believe you based on what you said earlier. So tell me specifically what justifies what are the consequences of undocumented immigration that justifies the amount of money we spend to remove them? Because if we look at the fiscal burden, it does not outweigh, number one, tax contributions, but secondly, it doesn't outweigh how much it costs to remove them.
Well, I do happen to believe that a lot of undocumented immigrants are actually contributing more than many citizens, but they didn't enter legally.
Okay.
And I feel that they should be removed despite the fact that it costs money to do so.
I'm gonna end this call because I just don't believe that this dude's over 18. I can't believe that he is. I just for some reason don't. Sheffy, thank you so much for the Cash App. Really appreciate it, Sheffy. If you guys would like to support, you can in the link tree in my bio. But Sheffy, thank you. I really appreciate the support, dude. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. Seriously. Thank you, dude. I just can't believe that guy is over 18. I'm sorry. Am I wrong to believe that? Let me just explain something really quick. It's not that I don't want young people to engage in politics. I do want young people to engage in politics. But his argument wasn't profound enough for me to believe he was over 18. But beyond that, if I bring young people up, I'm putting them in a position where they could ultimately be harmed.
Call from
Zeke.
Dude, you're not over 18, bro. Can I get a Trump supporter over the age of 18, please? Can I get a Trump supporter over the age of 18 that would like to call in and tell me why you support Donald Trump? Are you happy with what's happening right now to our country? Are you happy that our Constitution is effectively being dismantled? Are you happy that Donald Trump just used empty stomachs as a bargaining chip? Are you happy at families being destroyed? Because I'm not happy, which is why I'm here. Big Boy says, no, he was about to school you on something. You didn't want to hear it. That's why he hung up the phone. You must be new here, guy. You must be new here if you think that's why. You must be new here. You just have to be 18 years old, Swizzly. If you're an adult, I will speak to you. I'm not trying to mock young people. I want young people to be engaged in politics. But I also potentially could be putting them in danger by having them speak in front of a bunch of adults who then are going, depending on their opinion, going to attack them. And I don't want to put young people in that circumstance.
Call from
Gary.
How old are you?
I'm 57 years old.
Okay, why do you support Trump?
He's the best president since Ronald Reagan.
Okay, Ronald Reagan wasn't a good president, but why is he the best president? Why is he better than Bill Clinton? Why is he the best president specifically?
Getting rid of all the illegals.
Oh my God. What are undocumented immigrants doing that justifies their removal?
Draining our resources, man.
Okay, what resources?
Medicaid, SNAP.
Undocumented immigrants are not eligible for SNAP, if that's what you're talking about.
Why the government shut down?
Not because undocumented immigrants are eligible for SNAP, because they're not.
That's what the Republicans are telling us.
That's nice, but undocumented immigrants aren't eligible for SNAP. As I've already explained to you, I think, because I've spoken to you before, you don't understand eligibility status. You don't understand specifically.
Eligibility status. They applied for it and they received the benefits.
Okay, so first of all, I'll explain something to you, right? It's limited to lawful people lawfully present. Lawfully present. What other resources?
Housing.
Okay, what specifically about housing?
Well, there's no homes for young people to buy because of all the illegals.
That's not why. What specific? Where are you getting this from?
From what the Republicans say.
Okay, well that's not good enough. Do you have a better argument?
And a better argument for what? Getting the illegals out?
Oh my God. Guy, do you have a legitimate argument as to why they're contributing to a housing crisis? What specifically? Like what's the cause of a housing crisis? What's the cause of people unable to afford homes? Because undocumented immigrants live in... Are you aware of the fact that undocumented immigrants live in mostly shared housing situations? So they don't have the same housing demand as native-born
How do you
Americans.
know? Are you Mexican?
There are studies out there on this, so it's not something...
Can I ask you something?
No. So again... undocumented immigrants live in shared household situations, so it's not the same as native-born American people. Okay? Secondly, when you conduct mass deportation, you actually destabilize the housing market. And every credible study indicates this is the case.
What does that mean?
Because you're removing all of the essential workers. Who do you think builds these homes?
Us, the citizens.
Yeah, you think that?
Yeah, I own a construction company.
Okay, what's the name of your construction company?
I can't tell you that. You'll look me up, son.
God, I'm so tired of talking to these fucking guys. I really am. Dude, again, what else you got since I've already debunked that? What else do you got? They fill. We already know that undocumented immigrants work in the construction industry. If you're going to deny that based off your anecdote, I'm not interested in having the conversation. We know undocumented immigrants fill labor shortages in sectors that American citizens shut up. They fill sectors in America they fill jobs in sectors that American citizens don't want. Right? Those sectors work on building new homes and infrastructure. Without the workers, right? If you deport them, then housing construction slows down because we know that American-born citizens don't typically fill the role of undocumented immigrants in these specific
Start
sectors.
needing to, they're going to be hungry.
So you're going to tell me you own a construction company with no undocumented immigrants?
Yeah, I don't hire them.
Do you?
I personally don't.
Are there
But there
undocumented
might be
immigrants on
others
the
who do.
payroll of the
I don't
construction
know.
company? Are undocumented immigrants on the payroll of the construction company?
Mine? No.
How do you know that if you don't hire them?
Because everyone I hire is a U.S. citizen.
Okay.
No one,
So
no
you're,
one
you're
in
the
my,
construction company that doesn't. Okay. Well, whatever. What type of homes do you build?
What do you mean?
What type of homes do you build? Like what type of construction are you in?
Well, well,
Yeah, you're full of shit. What I'm trying to explain to you here is we already know that mass deportation causes labor shortages, and that is not just specific to, but also occurs in the construction industry because undocumented immigrants
I'm
fill
just saying,
labor
I don't
shortages.
hire them.
I don't care, dude. So
I'm
what
saying
else?
I
What
don't
what
hire-
other resources are they draining? I've already debunked this. What other resources are they draining?
Medicaid and healthcare.
Okay, Medicaid and healthcare. So what you're saying undocumented immigrants are receiving Medicaid?
Even if they aren't receiving Medicaid, they're draining the healthcare system when they receive, the stabilizing care or whatever.
Nope, it's not. What percentage do you think is used? What percentage, if you had to think?
I don't care. They shouldn't get it at all.
So you want to live in a country where someone can go to the hospital with a gunshot wound and they're going to die and the hospital refuses to give them life-sustaining care? It's not the same as receiving Medicaid. Medicaid, you get annual visits, right? You get to go back to the doctor. You have follow-up visits. You go to the doctor
someone has to pay
regularly
for it,
when you
right?
don't feel good. An undocumented immigrant can't go to the hospital to an emergency room because they have a cold.
Who pays for? So if someone shows up and they're shot, who pays for that?
Yeah, they do.
Who? The undocumented
immigrants.
person?
Do you know what the tax contributions are of undocumented immigrants?
Yeah, you said like $100 billion or whatever.
Okay. So what percentage do you think it exceeds their tax contributions? They pay taxes. Let me explain something to you. You're talking about this emergency spending for Medicaid. It's less than 1%. It's less than 1%.
So then why is the government shut down?
Wait. It's less than 1%. Can you provide me a study that shows it's more than 1% of total Medicaid spending nationwide? And by the way, regardless, even if it was 3, 4, 5%, I wouldn't want to live in a country where they denied people life-sustaining care.
Why?
Because I wouldn't want to live in a country where someone was dying and they went to an emergency room and they turned them away. Or someone was in labor and they turned them away. A woman was in labor and they turned them away. So again,
They can't. Who's going to pay for it?
so listen, if you were to cut this emergency Medicaid coverage you're talking about for life-sustaining care, it's going to save very little. Okay? It's not going to save really any money because it only accounts for less than 1% of total Medicaid spending. They only use it for emergency life-sustaining care. No follow-up care, no annual visits, no going to the doctor if you have a cold or you don't feel well. Life-sustaining care. It's a tiny share of Medicaid spending. So they don't.
So if some okay,
Stop talking. Stop talking.
If-
Stop talking. You said your claim was you said your claim was they substantially drain the Medicaid system. How do they substantially drain the Medicaid system if it's less than 1%?
Where are you getting the 1% from?
Do you have a number? You made the claim. Do you have a number? You can look this up. This is not
What do I look up? I got my computer right here.
Okay, so you give me the percentage and I'll debunk it. What's the percentage? You're making the claim. I don't have to give you a source. I know it's less than 1%. But you can give me. You're making the claim they substantially drained the Medicaid system. What source are you citing, and I'll debunk it. You make the claim. I don't have the burden of proof.
Well, I don't know the source because I haven't looked it up yet.
I don't have the burden of proof, but you do.
Okay, so
if you go to
what am I looking up?
So just type. You can go to kff.org and you can look at what percentage of total Medicaid spending is on this emergency care. That's a pretty quality source for health policy. Shut up. Yeah. Can you give me the source that claims they are substantially draining the Medicaid system? It's less than 1%.
Well, I'm looking it up. I can't give you a source just yet. Let me look it up.
Where did you get that they're substantially draining the system?
I got it from my buddies at the conservative, the coalition of conservatives.
What?
My buddies and we have a coalition of conservatives in action, CCIA, and that's who I got it from.
God, you're crusty. Go ahead. I'm gonna wait till you bring it up.
So what do I look
talking.
up again?
Don't tell me what do you look up. You look it up.
What percentage of Medicaid do illegals
No, you
get?
said they're draining the Medicaid system. Why am I doing your work for you? I'm about to kick you. You said they're draining the Medicaid system. Okay? Explain how they're draining the Medicaid system now or I'm kicking you.
I told you they're receiving the benefits.
Right,
Call from
Goofy. My God. Can't make this shit up. You're not calling in. I don't know you're calling from some kind of spam number. You're not calling in. Sorry. Good try though. Guys, if you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Call from
Wow, you're so cool. I love these 5-year-olds that call me and act like they're prank calling. Like, do you have a life? Like, do you have a life? I just block your number. It's simple. Right? Again, less than 1%. Less than 1%.
Call from
Louise.
Louise, how old are you?
39.
Okay, are you a Trump supporter?
Originally, yes.
Okay, well, I'm looking to speak to Trump supporters, but I'll give you a minute quick. Why'd you stop supporting Trump?
I quit supporting him on his inauguration when he pardoned all the January 6th people.
Okay, well, he said he was going to do that prior to the election, so I think it's kind of weird how you stopped supporting him after he did something he said he was going to do.
Yeah, it is. It's a little weird. It is. He said a lot of stuff.
I mean, I don't understand. That doesn't even make any sense. Why would you stop supporting him after something?
Listen, I'll be the first one to tell you I dropped the ball. I tell people all the time I dropped the ball in this vote. I did.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, Trump said he was going to do that, and I don't understand why he would stop supporting him after he said he was going to. I mean, this is one of his primary things he said he was going to do. So that's kind of weird to me, but okay. I'm glad you stopped supporting him, but I think at the same time, I think it's kind of weird how it's for something that anyway. So why did you vote for him? What was the primary reason you did vote for him?
So the primary reason was this whole kick on America First. I was so for that. Okay, and all of that has backfired 100-fold. But my main reason for calling is I think I have an answer for you as far as why do people still support Trump after you see everything that he's doing. And it's honestly because they can openly be racist. I just 100% believe that. If you support Trump, still to this day, after you see everything that he's done, it's just because you want to be racist openly, and he lets you do that.
Okay, well, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Take care. Ollivander, IRL, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate you, dude. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Oh, man. I think it's like at the same time, I'm happy that she stopped supporting Trump, but the only thing that's weird to me is like Trump said he was going to pardon these people. So like, it shouldn't really have been a shock, you know, like this is something Trump promised to do. I mean, I don't know, you know, it's kind of crazy. Guys, I would appreciate hitting the thumbs up button.
Call from
Jake,
how are you? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yep.
And why do you support Trump? You see everything happening in the country today. It's falling apart. Why do you still support Trump, Jake?
Because I think he's been doing better than his opponents.
Okay, Jake, how old are you?
19.
Okay, you think he's doing better than his opponents. What opponents are we talking about here?
Whoever, Biden or Kamala Harris.
Okay, and what specifically? Like when you see, I mean,
illegal immigration.
Okay, so you think that his mass deportation is better than what Kamala Harris would have done?
I think deporting illegal immigrants is a good idea.
Why?
Well, it makes it harder for people who are trying to enter the country legally to get in.
Okay, but why is that
harder
a good thing?
It makes it harder for people who did enter the country legally to stay in.
Okay.
Because having large amounts of illegal immigrants in the country means that a legal immigrant will be judged based on their race, and people will assume that they are illegal or at least think they may be illegal, and that can cause lots of problems for legal immigrants.
Okay, so let's talk about this. So the people, let's focus specifically on the people that are already in the country, the undocumented immigrants that are already in the country. What specifically, right, makes spending billions and trillions of dollars to deport them a good idea?
They shouldn't be here.
Okay,
It
so
costs money to
so
deport them.
are you just using the standard that they've committed a misdemeanor? Like, well, I'm asking because I'm looking out for the American taxpayer when I say it costs billions, if not trillions of dollars to remove them from the country. That is a burden for the American taxpayer. So what are they doing that justifies that burden on the American taxpayer? What are they doing, the people that are already here, that justifies spending that amount of money to remove them all?
Well, they're
Can you stop breathing so heavy into the phone? Jesus. Go ahead.
Wow, you're grumpy.
You're just breathing really heavy into the phone. It's crazy. Go ahead though.
There's
To the geniuses that can't figure out I can't accept calls when I'm already on a call, genius. So you need to stop calling. I'm already on a call. Go ahead.
Wow. Hold on, I lost my train of thought.
So undocumented immigrants, right? You're claiming that we need to remove them, and you said because they're undocumented. I'm telling you it costs a lot of money to remove them, right? And I'm going to argue that they're net positive on our country. So I'm wondering, what is your justification for removing them?
Them having illegal immigrants in the country makes it harder for legal immigrants to stay in the country because they may be mistaken for illegal immigrants and targeted because of it.
Why would they be mistaken if ICE wasn't racially profiling people, right, based on the color of their skin? If ICE wasn't doing that at all, so what you're basically saying is they're putting other legal immigrants in danger. Well, why would they be putting legal immigrants in danger? They're documented. Unless ICE was racially profiling people, which is in violation of the 14th Amendment under the Equal Protection Clause.
Well, ICE is racially profiling them.
They're using race as a multitude of factors. They're not allowed to use race as a singular reason for suspicion. They can use it in a multitude of factors. They deny racial profiling because it would be in violation of the 14th Amendment.
Okay, if they are using racial profiling, that means having illegal immigrants makes it harder for the legal immigrants to stay in the country.
That's not true. What you're saying is just not true. So give me something specifically. That is a fault of ICE and the deportation operation. You're actually proving my point that that's another negative consequence of legally present people who have constitutional rights. And undocumented immigrants additionally have constitutional rights, but still have constitutional rights. What specifically justifies mass deportation? What are undocumented immigrants doing that justifies spending the amount of money that we're spending to remove them, that justifies the constitutional rights violations that are happening to American citizens and documented people? What justifies tearing families apart? What justifies all these negative consequences? You've got to give me something better than this.
Illegal immigrants broke a law by coming into this country, and if we were to jail them here or provide consequences here instead of removing them, people would say that since they're not citizens, we don't have a right to jail them or penalize them or fine them. It's hard to keep track of illegal immigrants because they didn't enter the country legally. They don't have social security numbers or they don't have documents, which means they can go anywhere and do anything, which makes it easier for criminals to enter the country.
Okay, so
having the consequence that if you enter the country illegally, you will be removed should, in theory, make it harder or make it less pleasant for criminals to enter the country, make it more risky for them.
So let's break this down. So you're still kind of making the same argument, but we already have existing laws in place that criminally punish people, whether they're documented or not. In the case that Trump supporters love to tokenize, Laken Riley, that was an individual who committed rape and SA and homicide. He was arrested. He was criminally punished, and he was put in prison. We have laws that we don't deport people when they commit crime. Like if you commit a crime like homicide, you're going to be punished here. We want to ensure that you face criminal punishment. If we send you back to your country, you can't ensure that you would face criminal punishment, and then we deport you if you get out. So those laws already exist. They're already in place. What specifically are they doing? Well, undocumented immigrants commit very little crime per capita. They commit much less crime than American-born citizens, so crime can't be a consequence. What are undocumented immigrants doing that justifies spending billions and trillions of dollars to remove them?
I would say that breaking into the country illegally justifies them being removed. I didn't say the government was good at budgeting.
Okay, so you're once again using the standard of the law. So I'm going to break this down for you, okay? If your standard is people must follow the law, right, and it's strictly about following the law because that's your standard, then why did you vote for a convicted felon?
I didn't vote.
Okay, so now you didn't vote.
I did not vote in the last election.
Why not?
Because I had just turned 18 and I forgot to register.
Okay, so you could have voted, but you didn't.
Well, not really, since I didn't really have a chance to register as I had just turned 18.
Okay, so now we've established that you didn't vote for Trump. You support him. I'll just apply the argument to your support of Trump. You support someone who's a convicted felon. If your standard is the law, why would you support a convicted felon being in the highest position in our government? If your standard is people must follow the law and you're not going to give me a consequence that's legitimate, like, well, they're taking Americans' jobs or they're driving down wages or they're committing crime, all of which I can debunk statistically, then your argument simply is people must follow the law and that's my standard and that justifies their removal regardless of the cost. If that was the case, why are you supporting someone to be a convicted felon in the most powerful position in our government?
Sorry, I have to go.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Call from
John.
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, I support Trump.
What was it?
I support Trump.
Okay, why?
I'll give you a reason why. Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, are you born again?
No, I'm not born again.
Okay. Is Jesus is not your Lord?
I'm not Christian. Why would you say I'm Christian?
Okay, that's probably one reason. So one half of the aisle usually doesn't support our Lord, and the other half does.
What'd you say?
So one half of the table doesn't support our Lord, and the other one half does. That's why.
Okay. I don't know what that means. Mr. J Fresh, shut the fuck up, you weirdo. Aren't you a pedophile? Sorry, say that again.
So just think of it as a round table. Okay, one half is Democrat, the other half is Republican. One half doesn't support Christ our Lord, doesn't even want to be doesn't want Christ our Lord in their lives.
I
And the other half,
what is this argument? What is this weirdo
so
argument?
that's why I support the right.
What is this weirdo?
That's why I support the right. If you're a smart guy, you understand what I'm saying?
I really don't understand.
Oh, you don't understand now, Mr. Liberal. You don't understand now?
Shut up,
That's probably
dude.
because you sit on the left.
Guy,
You're on the left, right?
Listen, listen. I don't care if you're trying
You
to
sound like no.
Guy, are you
sound like a critical
trying to
thinker.
give me some kind
I'm not
of
trolling you, guy. I'm not
didn't
trolling
say
you.
you were. What's your argument you're
I
making?
sit on the right. I sit on the right because Christ is my Lord. I support Trump because Christ is my Lord.
Okay, so let's break it
What
down.
don't you get?
All right, I'll break it down.
No, I don't want to break it. I don't want to break it
Calm
down, bro.
down.
But this is why I'm telling you why I support Trump.
So can I respond or no?
No, you can't. You can't respond. There ain't no talking to you.
Okay, so you're gonna run from me then?
Yeah, you're a loser.
You're gonna run from me. I'm gonna cook you if you just stay on the line. Okay, so let's break it down.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what part of the? All right. Yeah, of course you run. So listen, if you're a Christian, why don't you call in? Right? I debated a Christian earlier today. Why don't you call in and let's talk about Leviticus 26:14 through 33. Let's talk about. Hold on a second. Let's talk about the Bible. Let's talk about Leviticus 26:14 through 33, because I guarantee you this guy's never read the Bible. Let's talk about Isaiah 3:16 through 17. Let's talk about Exodus 21:20 through 21. Let's talk about Genesis 19:8. Fuck out of here. Mr. J Fresh, $1.99. I'm a supporter. I was responding to another comment. What do you mean responding to another comment? For what? What, did you say something in the chat or something? Mr. J Fresh, thank you for the $1.99. I got Google. I got it back open. You got to recall. Call again. Call again right now. Call again right now. I want to break this argument down. This dude's so fucking scared to debate me. He's so scared to debate me because these Christians come up here and try and use the Bible and Christianity as their support as their reason they support Donald Trump. Let's talk about it.
Call from.
Oh my God. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah.
Okay, how old are you?
Daniel.
How old are you, Daniel?
I'm just turned 30.
Okay, and why do you support Trump?
Because I'm a Christian.
Oh my God. All right, can you do me a favor and tell me why Donald Trump, the Christian, is refusing to release the Epstein files?
I don't know if Donald Trump is a Christian, but...
Oh, he claims to be. You just said you... Wait. It doesn't matter if he's a Christian. You said you support him because you're a Christian. So again, I ask you to then lay out for me why the Christian is hiding the Epstein files from the American people. That's what I ask you. That's what I challenge you now to respond to.
I'm not sure.
Well, because he's not. So why?
I don't know it.
So tell me why being Christian makes you want to support.
He's on there.
What do you mean?
Like, is he on there? Is he on the list?
Yeah. You're damn right he is.
How do you know?
You're damn right he is.
How do you know?
Because so I'll tell you a number of reasons why we know. Number one, Pam Bondi told him right in May that he was on the list. Number two, he sent his deputy.
What did she say? I didn't see that.
She said that he was in the Epstein files. The FBI also released the flight logs. Trump was on the flight logs. Donald Trump also sent his personal attorney, Todd Blanche, to go sit down with Ghislaine Maxwell, right, to secure her story when they found out that she was going to give testimony to the Oversight Committee.
Isn't her dad
she was
the
also
one who writes all the books for schools and stuff?
Can I finish? She was also moved to a minimum security prison right after that meeting to secure the story.
Oh. Well, I don't know, dude. Like, money talks and bullshit walks, right? I don't know.
Does it? Can you answer the question? Can you respond?
Yeah, but what does it have to do with, like, Christianity?
Yeah, so if he was a true Christian, would he be protecting or engaging in the abuse of children? Or maybe he would. You understand how he can't be a true Christian?
Like, the early 2000s, like, it wasn't really weird for people to be talking about dating 16-year-olds and stuff. I don't know. It's different now.
What?
It's different now. Like, my dad met my mom when she was like 13. I don't know.
Are you condoning dating children?
I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying it was a different time. And, like,
what was it?
I don't know.
So you're telling me in the 90s and the 80s, it was acceptable to engage in this with children? And by the way, we're talking about sexual assault. It was not acceptable.
Well, I don't know. I wasn't around in that time. Like, I was in third grade in 2003. Like,
I don't give a shit.
I don't know how
this
it was
is common sense.
Well, I'm just saying.
I don't give a shit. This is common
sense. Is it? Because,
sense.
like, a lot of people, like, yeah, maybe it was frowned upon, but, like, wasn't it, like, socially, I don't know if it was socially acceptable or whatever, but people did it.
Guys, am I the only one that is fucking blown away by this guy's argument? This guy is telling me it was normal back then, or it was potentially normal back then because he was young and doesn't know. No, it was not acceptable. And it was never acceptable to rape someone. You think it was acceptable to rape people in the 80s? In the 90s? You think it was acceptable to rape people? I don't know.
There's like rap music that say, like, oh, I'm going to meet up with this when she's 16 and stuff. Like, I don't know.
Bro, what are you talking about?
Yeah, like that song.
Listen,
like Joe
when's the last time you were investigated? When's the last time you've had your hard drive checked?
My hard drive? Are you kidding me?
Get it checked again. Holy fuck. Look at all these Trump supporters in here talking shit to me, bro. Like, it's crazy. They talk mad shit to me, and every time they send one of their guys up here, they get destroyed, or they say something weird.
Call from
David.
What's your name?
David.
What is it?
David.
David. Okay, David. How are you? Why are you a Trump supporter?
How you doing? No, I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm just calling, I was paying attention, to, how you, I just want to say, thank you for being respectful, to everybody, being human, calling us undocumented,
I appreciate
and
it,
seeing the whole, and seeing the big picture of, how, yes, it's a waste of money, and
Yep.
that's all because of racism and hate. They really don't have no heart, and that's what that is. But I subscribe to you. I'm going to keep following as long as it's positive and correct. And I appreciate you, just the respectful, and I see what you're getting at about how he had a chance to, to really unite us. But they want to base everything, off color. In my eyes, my opinion.
I appreciate you, buddy, and there are plenty.
I know, they're using the.
Yep, I appreciate you, buddy, and thank you for calling.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And there are plenty of people that are willing to fight for it. Listen, there is no reason that the people that are already here should be mass deported. That's a crock of bullshit, and that is Republicans trying to blame someone for their problems, and they're trying to trick you into believing undocumented immigrants are the reason for your problems, and they're
Call
not.
from
Jose, what's going on? Are you a Democrat or, I'm sorry, are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, I am.
Okay, why are you a Trump supporter, Jose?
I'm supportive of the administration because of their efforts to basically deport the undocumented individuals.
Okay, so why? What specifically are undocumented immigrants doing that justifies their removal?
Well, for me, specifically in the sector of work that I do,
Mm-hmm.
which is the transportation industry,
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
i.e., livery services.
What are they
A
doing?
lot of undocumented workers. A lot of undocumented workers use transportation network companies to provide transportation services, and a lot of several states issue driver's licenses to undocumented workers. So the transportation network companies can hire those people. And that has caused a severe crippling to the livery service that taxi drivers or something like that would do. Even truck drivers, as I'm beginning to understand it,
What
are
company do you
impacted by
work
these
for?
type of
What company
undocumented.
do you work for? What company do you
Huh?
work? What company do you work for?
I work as a taxi driver.
But what company? Like, you work as a taxi driver in a major city, and you're telling me there is no available taxi positions?
No, I'm telling you that the taxi service has been heavily crippled because of the cheap pricing of the transportation network companies who exercise use of undocumented workers.
Okay, so I think the first thing I would need to respond to have this conversation is understanding that you blame the companies, not the undocumented immigrants, right?
That would be correct.
Okay. So what companies are we talking
But if
about?
you weed out the source, I'm talking about companies like Uber and Lyft.
Okay. You're telling me there's
you,
no...
You might cut out here for a second, but just hold on.
Excuse me.
You might cut out here for a second, but
Okay, that's fine. I'll wait a second. I'll wait a second.
are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Sorry, I have to turn the car back on.
Okay, well, undocumented immigrants aren't the reason that Lyft or Uber exists. They make up a very small percentage of the employees for these companies. So first of all, my anger, it's not that you're completely wrong that they're able to obtain a license. Although they're not real ID compliant licenses, these licenses can't be used to get on an airplane or enter federal buildings, but that's besides the point. Under certain circumstances,
Okay.
yes, but here's the issue. Your anger is directed at the wrong group of people because undocumented immigrants only make up a small percentage of Uber and Lyft drivers. They only make up a small percentage. So regardless, these companies would exist, and there's an abundance of these positions available, right? And these drivers use ITINs to pay taxes on the money that they're making. So it's not undocumented immigrants that are supporting the industry. It's American citizens. 95% of the people who work for Uber are American citizens. So your anger is just directed at the wrong population of people. So while I see what you're saying and I understand, your anger should be directed at companies like Uber and Lyft who have undercut your taxi business. That's not the fault of undocumented immigrants.
As far as the statistics go, here in the area that I work, I can personally tell you, because I live it and I work it. Mm-hmm. There are more, and now let me actually take that back a step. Since the push to remove undocumented workers, the Uber and Lyft network systems have seen a reduction in their drivers.
Wait,
and because of that, now my line of work, now my business, the amount of work that I get is increasing. And it's going back to normal.
No.
So you see, I'm not sure that the statistics you're telling me are accurate.
They are.
When you say that the majority of people that are doing Uber and Lyft are American citizens.
Well, I remember because this argument, this was actually brought up by Trump at some point. I can't remember where I was reading an article on Business Insider or something about this particular issue because this was brought up, but it's not it's a very small percentage that make up the industry. So all I'm saying is your anger is directed at the wrong population of people. Your anger should be directed at these Uber and Lyft companies. What you're saying is just, yeah, you're being undercut by Uber and Lyft because of its convenience, because of the many other reasons that Uber and Lyft are popular, not because undocumented immigrants are Uber and Lyft drivers. It just is what it is, Dave.
Well, in the market that I work in, now that the Uber and Lyft drivers are far fewer,
they're not.
My business, the business that I am in, is improving.
Where are you getting that from? That they're far fewer?
Hey, I have to apologize. I got a ride now.
Okay.
I'll try to hit you up another time.
Okay. Bye-bye. So again, I understand that guy's argument, but the point I'm making is that you're directing your anger at a population of people that aren't responsible for undercutting your business. Go after these major corporations that not only employ people who are undocumented, but also have essentially are the reason you're being undercut. I don't understand why people have such an issue with undocumented immigrants working. You guys say you get mad because they're not paying taxes. Then when they work jobs and pay taxes through their individual taxpayer identification number, you guys get mad that they're working jobs in your specific sector. Do you want them to pay taxes or not? They contribute a significant amount of tax revenue. What's your first name?
John.
John, are you a Trump supporter?
I am.
Why are you a Trump supporter, John?
Money. Lots of money.
Okay. That's creepy. Can you be more specific, John?
Okay. Well, what's the exception in the Constitution that allows for slave labor? Tell me about that.
It's not. What do you mean slave labor? Are you pivoting now?
No, I'm a Republican.
Yeah, I know. And you're trying to pivot. What you're trying to say that undocumented immigrants are slave labor?
Yeah, essentially. That's the thing.
Yeah,
it's how we're going to compete with somebody who has broken the law.
What?
See, there's an exception in the Constitution when we abolish slave labor that allows us to use it as a punishment for a crime. We
what are you saying?
arrest the... Well, okay, so the original question, blah, 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 is why do I support Trump? And it's because I want to own people. I want to own more people legally. Okay.
All right. Have a good day. Have a good day, Psycho.
Call from
What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Okay, why do you support Trump?
A lot of reasons.
Okay, well, would you like to name what the number one thing is when you think about your support for Trump and what that represents? And you go, this is the reason that I love Donald Trump. This is the reason you support Donald Trump. What is that reason when you think about that?
Cares about the American people.
Guys, I would appreciate contributing to the gifting goal. We have only 5 minutes left on the gifting goal, and we are only 4 of 30. I would appreciate if you guys do enjoy the live contributing to the gifting goal. What's the reason?
He cares about the American people.
Okay, in what way?
Well, he looks out for their best interests.
Okay, how?
He's getting rid of all the illegals.
Back to this again. Okay, so what specifically are undocumented immigrants doing that justifies removing them from the country when we consider the cost on the American taxpayer, which is billions of trillions of dollars? Floyd, thank you so much for the high five for 100 joules. Thank you so much, Floyd.
They are here, and they should not be here.
Okay, so you're going to use the law as your standard to why we should be spending billions of dollars to remove people from the country, correct? Carly, let's go, Carly.
Absolutely. That's what's...
Okay, cool. If that's your standard, then why did you vote for a convicted felon?
He's not a convicted felon.
He's a convicted felon in the state of New York. Did you know that?
Okay.
Did you not know that?
New York.
Yes.
Democrats in New York.
No, there was actually Republicans on that jury, but you just said he wasn't a convicted felon. Can you tell me why you don't think he's a convicted felon? Liz, thank you for the laughing disco for 250 joules. Appreciate you, Liz. Guys, we are 3 minutes and 30 left on the super chat goal. Go ahead, dude. What's the
They needed to stop him from being president. They needed to find a way to stop him.
Well, there's no constitutional requirement that you have a clean criminal record to be president of the United States, although there are provisions that prevent you from being president if you've engaged in particular behaviors like insurrection, or if you're under the age of 35, or if you're not born in the United States. There is no provision that prevents you from being president if you have a criminal record, because we don't want to enable authoritarian dictators to weaponize the Department of Justice. So him being president has nothing to do with it, right? Because it's not a constitutional requirement. Let's go, Stout. Thank you so much, Stout. Like the beer, appreciate you. And Morgan, thank you so much to you both. I really appreciate it. Norma Joe, thank you for the $4.99. That was a sick burn. Love it. Thank you, Norma Joe. I appreciate you. Can you please tell me why he's not a convicted felon when he was convicted in the state of New York and received an unconditional discharge? If your standard is people must follow the law, then why did you vote for a convicted felon?
Well, he got a discharge.
No, an unconditional discharge. An unconditional discharge relates to his sentencing, not his criminal conviction. His sentencing.
He received no time, so
he received
it's not like he was.
He received an unconditional discharge 10 days before the inauguration because Judge Marchand didn't want to interfere with his ability to govern. Happy Leo Lee, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Appreciate you so much. Jesse, thank you for the 5. Let's go. Happy, thank you so much. And Jesse, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, Sir Sue and Matthew. I'm new here and I hope this helps. Thank you so much, Sir Sue and Matthew. I really appreciate your support. I really do. Make sure you subscribe and come back again. Sheffy, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate you. Dude, I just literally told you that he received an unconditional discharge, but he was still convicted. First you get convicted, then there's the sentencing phase. Sheffy, thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate your support always, dude. Can you please answer why you voted for a convicted felon if your standard is people must follow the law?
Well, he's not really a criminal. It's just white collar crime. It's not really.
No, he's quite literally a criminal. He's a convicted felon.
Like I said, it's white collar crime. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay, so then your standard isn't people must follow the law. Got it. Guys, we have 1 minute and 10 seconds left on the super chat goal. Would appreciate trying to complete that in the last minute.
Legally.
Again, your standard can't be the law. So can you give me another reason, or am I moving on?
Another reason why I voted for him.
All right, have a good day, bro. What's your first name, and did you support Trump? Do you support Trump?
My name is Anthony. Yes, I do.
Okay, Anthony, why do you support Trump?
Well, I supported him for a number of reasons. Which genre do you want to talk about? Talk about during the Hillarys, or do you want to go and on Biden? I voted for him 3 times.
No, I want to talk about right now. What's happening in the country right now?
Well, I really I studied criminal justice in college, and I really enjoy watching the legal aspects and just seeing how some of these judges have kind of gone a little off the rails and been a little crazy because they're in Boasberg and a couple of the others. And especially since the last caller you're mentioning, you kept saying Trump was a convicted felon.
He is.
Yes, he got that charge, but it's being appealed, and it's currently stayed when it's being appealed.
Excuse me.
You claiming convicted felon.
He is legally a convicted felon in the state of New York. What are you talking about? What?
Okay, but he is under
Doesn't matter.
Under appeal at the moment. And it just got overturned in one of the other cases.
No, it didn't.
It got remanded back to the. Got remanded back.
You don't know what you're talking about.
As of two days ago.
Okay, you have no idea what you're talking about. Trump is currently a convicted felon in the state of New York.
Okay, and do you think it's going to stay?
That
based on
yes,
all the aspects of that case and all of the legal jokery and all the stuff that went on during that case. Did you follow it every day, daily?
Yeah, I covered it.
I did.
Have you ever watched me before?
Oh, you covered it.
Yeah.
Did you read?
Did you ever watch me before?
And you didn't see a problem with any of that.
So first of all, I'm going to establish the first part before you try.
You didn't see his daughter.
Guy, if you're going to talk
over me. His daughter
being. Stop talking over me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay.
I already explained to you. First of all, I'm going to correct your information. Trump absolutely was and is a convicted felon in the state of New York on 34 counts. That cannot be disputed. Correct. He received an unconditional discharge 10 days before the inauguration. Not related to his criminal conviction, but his ability to govern since he was elected to the president. He was elected president.
34 counts were misdemeanors, and the juries were given never-before-seen instructions without having an underlying cause. The prosecution used that to turn those 34 misdemeanors into felonies, but the problem is there's no underlying charge,
so which has to be
necessary in order to make it a federal situation. And if it did become federal, it had to get removed from state to the federal court.
Sure, I'll explain it since clearly you don't understand it. Falsifying business records is a misdemeanor, but when the intent is to commit another crime, talk over me one more time, and I'm going to kick you. Last chance. You're very eager to speak, but you're very misinformed. So So what happened was the intent was to conceal other criminal conduct in the state of New York. When the intent is to conceal other criminal conduct, namely that the payments were part of an illegal scheme related to election interference by influencing voters in 2016 by hiding a story to minimize its impact on his campaign. You can look this up. New York Penal Law 17510 elevates falsifying business records to a felony if it's done with the intent to commit or conceal another crime. So therefore, what was originally a misdemeanor for falsifying records became a felony because prosecutors argued that there was an underlying criminal purpose tied to the campaign finance law violations.
Okay, so what was the underlying crime?
Didn't I just explain it? I just explained it.
Yes, you explained the process.
No, I explained more than the process.
What was the underlying crime? The furtherance of. What was the other?
I'm going to repeat myself again. Okay, I'm going to repeat myself. I'll try one more time.
Don't repeat.
The payments were a part of an illegal scheme related to election interference by influencing voters in 2016, hiding that story to minimize its impact on the campaign. Okay, this is New York Penal Law 17510, which automatically elevates that falsifying business records to a felony if it's done with the intent to conceal another crime. So therefore, what was originally a misdemeanor for falsifying business records becomes a felony because they argued that there was an underlying criminal purpose tied to, now listen, campaign finance law violations. So the felony elevation was based on the claim criminal intent to cover up illegal campaign contributions, okay? Disguising the hush money payment in business records.
That his lawyer, what happened there is Trump claimed in the court case he had no knowledge of that, and then the lawyer kind of did it on his own and just billed them.
Okay, so
And
here's the
that's where
point.
the
Here's the
problem
point.
is.
Since I've already proven you wrong, here's the point. He's a convicted
you
felon
haven't.
in the state of. Yes, I have. You're wrong. You can dispute the law.
It wouldn't-
Disputing the law doesn't change the fact that he's a convicted felon. So the point is, you voted for a convicted felon. Why did you vote for a convicted felon if your standard is we must remove undocumented immigrants because they're breaking the law? Answer the question.
Because I didn't vote for a convicted felon. That was a whole shebang off the election trail.
No, but
It
you
was the most
dismissed
disgusting
it
thing I've
as
seen in American
credible
politics
because
in
you
years.
think you're a
It was
lawyer,
horrible.
because you have an
They
associate's
tried it
degree.
from 3 different angles. I didn't think I was a lawyer. I was explaining to you. I fought it every single day, and you seem to have like
literally
a
cited
chapter
your
title understanding of it. Like,
you literally cited your
no,
associate's
you never
degree.
gave us the underlying crime. You gave some bullshit, highly
literally
campaign finance thing. Campaign finance? No.
I've explained this
Like,
multiple
are
times.
you even watching the appeals? It
Guy,
is so bad.
listen,
Are you
you're-
even watching the appeals?
Guy, you
are you
don't
even
know what
reading
you're
them?
talking about. Listen, your associate's
You don't
degree-
know what you're talking
No,
about.
I
You're gonna look real
do,
stupid in a couple of
clearly,
days when
which
it
is
gets
why I
appealed, you dipshit.
Okay, watch what happens. Make sure you call back when
Yeah,
it does.
watch what happens,
Who do you
because it
think
kills
you're
every
calling
case
a
so far.
dipshit? Who do you think you're calling a
You.
dipshit? Yeah,
You.
Listen, you came in and cited your associate's degree as your credible
Call
argument.
from
Come back in 2 days. We'll see. Come back in 2 days. We'll have a nice discussion about it. Jesse Sinclair, thank you for the
Hey, you still there?
$5 super chat. Keep up the good work, bro, debating these MAGA pedophiles. MAGA chomo. Yeah, I agree. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, and why did you vote for Trump?
So I didn't like the way the country was headed. It's pretty disturbing. I don't think we were focused on the right issues. I think everybody was too concerned about being politically correct, and it was going in the wrong direction.
Okay.
I
And
think
like,
he's a
what do you
pretty
mean
big
by
change. But like you hear all the drain the swamp kind of things, and I
Mhm.
realize he was president already once, and I get that, but he's completely different than any of the presidents we've had in the past 100 years, really, or maybe not that long. I'm not sure, but
that? Well, let's break down.
I'm
what
not
do you?
far right. I don't wear a MAGA hat. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, let's
I voted
break down.
Democrat
Let's,
plenty of times. I'm a union worker. You know what I mean? It's just
well, that's great. Can we break down very specifically what you mean by political correctness is the reason you voted for Trump? Because I don't know what you mean. You have to be more specific so I can know what you're, because that could mean a million different things, and I don't know specifically
yeah,
what
I
you
get
mean.
it.
Go ahead. Be more specific. What was turning so politically correct that it needed Trump to fix it?
Well, I don't think it was necessarily Trump to fix the political correctness. More so, like, you can't say certain things without it being spun
Like what?
in a way that you didn't mean it.
Like what?
Like the transgender stuff.
Oh.
If I say the wrong pronoun, I don't mean to offend. You
What
know what I
happens
mean?
if you
But
say the wrong pronouns? What happens?
there's an outrage. I can get fired at work. You know what I mean? I can,
Really?
if it depends on the crowd that I'm around,
What do you
the
do for a living?
terminologies I have to use.
What do you do for a living?
I'm in logistics. I work with truckers. I'm not in the Teamsters Union anymore. I used
Okay,
to be
and
a
are you
union
in-
insulator working in power plants and stuff.
Okay, are you in circumstances where you were in trouble for using the wrong pronouns or something? Violet, thank you for the goat trophy.
That's
Hold on,
never
buddy.
happened.
Violet, thank you for the goat trophy for
Go ahead.
1,000 jewels. Appreciate you so much. Go ahead. What circumstance were you in where you had to use the correct pronouns or you were going to be canceled? Because people always say that, but I don't know. I think there's a difference between accidentally using the wrong pronouns and deliberately using the wrong pronouns to be transphobic, right? So like if someone says to you like let's say this for instance, right? Let's say that someone you tell someone, hey, these are my pronouns, and then you accidentally use the wrong pronoun or something. I've never seen someone like get outraged over that, and if they're in good faith. If they're doing something, like they're probably just rage baiting. But deliberately using the wrong pronouns and refusing to acknowledge someone's pronouns because you're transphobic, well, I think that's just disrespectful,
Well,
right?
do you think Do you think it's necessarily transphobic to not want to use somebody's, like, if you're obviously a woman and you want me to call you a man, is that transphobic to not want to do that?
I think that I think you should be respectful of people's requests and what makes them comfortable. I truthfully I'm not the type of person that feels it necessary to say, well, no, I think that you're a man, so I'm going to call you sir. Like, I just think that's just being an asshole, right? Like, it doesn't hurt you at all to if someone feels more comfortable being referred to as she or he or they, I don't find this to be much of an issue. And also, this is such a small percentage of the population. I can't believe this is the reason you voted for Donald Trump. Like, this is not really a relevant
It's really
issue.
not. Like, when you asked me at the beginning, the phone just answered, and I started spitting stuff out at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Immigration's a big one for me.
Okay.
That's a really big one. The economy is a huge one. My choices at the time were Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. And I just lined up with a whole lot of more with what Donald Trump wanted to do than Kamala Harris.
Okay, like what?
Well, first off, I didn't know what Kamala Harris's views on a lot of things were. She didn't answer questions very concisely. You know what I mean? It was very hard to, except for keep going in the direction that we were going, which was a bad direction.
I think the problem is, and I don't think it's that she didn't answer questions. I think the problem was, and I have her book right next to me here, which is called 107 Days. And that's not a long time. 107 days. She had 107 days to make a connection with the American people. So I think it's more or less that she didn't have the opportunity to develop a relationship that she needs to win an election with the people who would have potentially voted for her. I don't think it was
that
her
was the fault
inability.
of the Democratic Party in the beginning. I mean,
I don't think it was her inability to
bumbled and fumbled.
Well, I don't think it had anything to do with her inability to explain her policies, right? Like, I think that she
was asked pretty directly a whole lot of times.
All right, well, what are we talking
didn't
about?
Really come out with a whole lot.
You got to give me specific circumstances.
Whenever she was on The View and they asked her, you know, what if she would have done anything differently, and she just said no. Like, you know, that's not the answer that me, you know, somebody who's in the middle. I'm pretty sure I'm still registered Democrat. You know what I mean? I haven't done it since I was 18. It's been the same since then. I registered Democrat because my union asked me to.
Well, here's what I
voted. I voted for Obama. I'm 39. You know what I mean? I voted for Obama twice.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
I'm not a Republican. I'm not religious. I'm atheist. You know what I mean? And so whenever those questions get asked, and there's a voter like me, answers like that are, you know, part of the reason I probably did end up voting for Trump.
All right, Brian, do you ever stop yapping in the chat? Like, I see you yapping, like you're furiously typing in the chat. Like, go rake some leaves or something, dude. You might need a snow shovel soon, depending on what side of the country you're on. We're getting snow.
Just started snowing here for the first time.
We're getting snow in the United States. I think it's coming tomorrow, but anyways, it's starting to snow already in the United States on the East Coast. So anyway,
I'm in Pittsburgh right now.
Yeah, so let me break this down.
I'm in Pittsburgh. It just started.
Here's what I noticed with Trump supporters, okay, is that your burden for candidates on the left side that are Democrat is far higher, in the sense that you want these like grand explanations of their policies. When Donald Trump speaks into a microphone or gives an interview, he answers no questions. He answers no questions. He says absolutely absurd things. Let's not pretend like Donald Trump was explaining his policies in depth, where you were like, wow, his explanation of foreign policy was incredible. And you know, that's why I voted for him, because he gave an hour-and-a-half master class on geopolitical issues. Donald Trump, when he talks, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
I disagree.
And so you guys have this unreasonably high burden for Kamala Harris. Like, oh, well, Kamala Harris, you know, she must explain every policy in detail. And I think she did a pretty I mean, I saw multiple interviews. Listen, she cooked Donald Trump in that debate. Did you watch the debate? Every scholar said she won.
I wouldn't disagree with it. I kind of thought, you know, she kind of had the better of him.
So
Yes,
she
I agree
cooked
with
them.
that.
I mean, she cooked them hard. I mean, Trump was
I don't
up
think
on
she
stage.
cooked him. It was pretty close.
Let's be clear.
It wasn't like what happened whenever he went up there with Biden.
Oh,
You know
stop
what
it.
I mean?
Oh,
That
stop
wasn't
it.
that lopsided.
Oh, stop it. Donald Trump was saying they eat the
That was
dog. Hold on.
embarrassing.
All right, let's do this then. Let's do this right now. Right? I want you to just listen.
Yeah.
Let's do this, guys. Let's do this, right? And we'll do this. I'm going to pull this up. This is a moment from the debate. Okay, this is a moment from the debate, and I want to play this for you. Just listen in to the live.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country.
That's an example of some things Donald Trump was saying during the debate. That's an example of the ridiculous claims he was making during the debate. Let me give a little more context here.
I didn't hear it. I'm on the phone. I'm on my cell phone.
All right, turn. Can you see my live?
Yeah, I
All
can.
right, listen to my live for a second.
Done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well,
All this.
Literally corrected on the spot. Literally corrected on the spot. Now, let's be honest, though. You may think it's funny, but you have this expectation that she's supposed to break down policies in detail on The View when Donald Trump's on the debate stage saying they eat the dogs and they eat the cats. And that is policy, and this is
Didn't
justification
expect her
for mass deportation.
to break down. I wouldn't understand it. It would go over my head for the most part. Most voters aren't going to understand when they break down detailed foreign policy. You know, the average guy isn't going to understand that. I wanted an answer. She said she'd leave it exactly the same way as it was. And do you not think
Well, that question is a
illegal
little...
immigration is a problem at all?
Okay, so, all right, so you're asking me two questions. Number one, you're
Yeah,
kind
I
of mischaracterizing the context of her saying she wouldn't do anything different. That was specific to something specific. That wasn't just generally speaking. Of course, she would do something different. She had some different policies. She was going in somewhat of a different direction than Biden on a number of issues. She wanted to attack gun control harder than Biden had. But anyway, here's the point. You said, is undocumented immigration an issue at all? I think the immigration system is broken, but I don't think that, using undocumented immigrants as a scapegoat for our economic struggles or our safety issues or our issues with substance use disorder is justified. I think that Donald Trump and the administration has desperately looked for an excuse to demonize this population of people when they are overall a net positive contribution on our society and our economy. I think that the people that are already here, and I'm talking merely from an economic perspective, are positively contributing to our society. I don't think that spending billions of dollars to remove them does anything for the American people. I think it makes our situation worse. I think if we were to grant...
Do you think we have to cut off the flow?
No, I think they're already here. So if you want to fix the immigration system...
No, I'm talking about the new ones coming in.
Oh, sure. I think that certainly the immigration system needs an overhaul. But I think that needs to also come with making...
And wasn't Kamala the border czar or something like that?
No, she was not the border czar. That's something Republicans said. The vice president's not in charge of the border. The Department of Homeland Security is in charge of the border, specifically Mayorkas. Kamala Harris
Didn't they name her border czar, though?
No, that's something...
Wasn't that a title she got?
No, that's a label Republicans put on her. Her duty as vice president was actually to address the root causes of migration. Her job had nothing to do with being the border czar. That's complete Republican bullshit. They tried to attach that label to her to try and hurt her in the election. But you can look it up. Her vice presidential responsibilities were not to ensure border security. The Department of Homeland Security secures the border, and Mayorkas is the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. So no, it wasn't Kamala Harris. Her issue is to her job, right? Her responsibility was to address the root causes of migration. Now, let me just go a step further. When you say stop the flow, this is an issue with the immigration system. He's talking about people that are already here. He's talking about people that are already present in the country. So you have people that are already here, and then you're going to turn around to the American taxpayer without a single legitimate justification, right? And spend billions, if not trillions of dollars, if conducted over a 10-year period, to remove them. I think we need to look at cheaper options. I think we need to consider that these people significantly contribute to our tax revenue. $100 billion at a federal, state, and local level. I think we need to understand that undocumented immigrants are a crucial part of our society, and we should reward the people that were here and remain tax compliant using an individual taxpayer identification number. There is no legitimate justification to spend this amount of money to remove them. It's just not justified.
So the numbers that I hear is if you include the money that they pay into taxes, whenever you take into account everything else, that it's still $150 to $450 billion net loss to the economy every year.
Sure. So let me address that. So what you're
citing, where's that number come from?
Sure, I'll tell you. So you're actually citing what's called the FAIR study. Okay? Specifically, it's called
the
FAIR.
Yeah, that's it.
Correct. So the reason that's not true, and I'm going to explain, is that study has a number of issues, a number of errors that they used information to unfairly inflate the fiscal burden, such as using the children of undocumented immigrants as the cost of undocumented immigration. American-born children to undocumented immigrants as the cost of undocumented immigration without counting their future tax contributions to offset the fiscal burden. Did you understand what I just said? So they're basically, they're doing things like, so in that study, there's a number of methodological errors in that study. I could go on for days, okay? But just to name one that was very significant is they literally took the cost of American-born children to undocumented immigrants as a cost of undocumented immigration without including their future tax contributions to mathematically offset the fiscal burden. How can you include the cost of American-born children to undocumented immigrants without counting the fact that they're going to become American tax-paying citizens? They're citizens. They were born
if you include that number, where does it take it? Do you know?
Yes, that the number is less than their contributions. It's not even close to $150 billion. It doesn't even exceed their tax contributions.
Do you know what it would be?
I don't know specifically. I know it's a net positive, though. I know it's a net positive. It's much less. So the point is there isn't a single study that exceeds the contributions.
I gotcha.
And let's be honest, right? Let's be honest about one other thing. It's not just tax revenue. Right? It's the fact that they work in sectors, low-paying, physically demanding jobs that American citizens just don't do. Just don't do.
I'll buy that.
I'm telling you, it is. They just don't do. So what we've seen historically through deportation.
That's so you want them here to do the work that we don't want to do? That's a bad excuse to me.
What I'm telling you, I'm not saying to be here to the work we want to do. I'm just citing for you that what we've seen through mass deportation is we've seen job shortages as a result of mass deportation. We haven't seen.
What do you mean? In those sectors,
meaning when we deport undocumented immigrants, we see job shortages in the sectors they work in agriculture, and food service, and construction.
So not enough people to fill those roles.
No, it's that they're low-paying, physically demanding jobs. Do you know what the federal minimum wage in this country is?
Like, I don't know, $7.50 or something?
$7.25. And people blame undocumented immigrants for driving down wages because they work in these sectors that American citizens refuse to work in. There's an abundance of these positions, number one. So there is no shortage of these positions available And how many American citizens do you see seeking jobs out in agriculture? How many?
I live in a place where that's not a thing.
It's not a thing anywhere, because we've seen we know that there's absolutely an issue when you conduct mass deportation. There are consequences, job shortages, or labor shortages. Sorry,
labor shortages. Okay, now
yes.
So don't you think then that they should start paying a little bit more to do those jobs instead of taking these people who have to work these jobs because they're undocumented and they can't get jobs in other sectors, and that would force them to start paying a little bit more to do those kind of jobs?
So then again, what I'm telling you is that it's not the fault of undocumented immigrants, though. That's the point of the conversation.
Yeah, I'm not blaming them for anything.
If you want to raise the minimum wage.
Well, I do blame them. They shouldn't have came here illegally. That's number one. That's the number one wrong. You should not come here illegally.
No, but you don't care about the law.
You're starting off on the wrong foot.
But you don't care about the law as a standard because you voted for a convicted felon. We've already moved past that, right?
Come on.
We've already moved
what
past
was he convicted
that.
of?
What was he convicted of? Falsifying business records, side campaign finance violations. I went over this with the last guest. Would you like me to explain it again?
What was he sentenced to? What was he sentenced to?
He didn't. He was sentenced to an unconditional.
Not sentenced.
He was sent. Yes, he was. He was sent. He officially got what's called an unconditional discharge because Judge Merchan did not want to interfere in his ability to govern. That's at the judge's discretion, right? So Trump had got misdemeanor charges that were elevated to felony counts because he falsified business records with the intent to.
That was such bull crap.
I'm telling you,
it's not. Charges they pressed on him were unprecedented. That was such crap. That was one of the reasons I voted for him. I looked into that. That was such crap.
It wasn't. I'm telling you.
They to say he was a convicted felon. Like, come on, dude.
I could go.
That's such crap.
Okay, so I mean, so anyway, let me just address this first part here, right, about undocumented immigrants. Okay, the point is that these jobs are difficult to fill, and they are avoided by American citizens due to their low wages and harsh conditions. And we have seen when we conduct mass deportation, we see labor shortages in these specific sectors. Okay? They compete with low-skilled, less educated workers. So if you're talking about raising the minimum wage, that's also going to be a conversation you need to have with your own party. Your party's resistant to raising the minimum wage.
I don't want to raise the minimum wage. I don't think the federal government should deem what a minimum wage is. I think
anyway,
the point figure that out on their own.
The point is, dude, it's been studied extensively, and undocumented immigrants complement the workforce. They do not take jobs from American citizens. Now, let me just explain this really quick. If Donald Trump had gone to, let me just tell you something. If Donald Trump had gone to trial on those other criminal cases, remember there were 4 criminal indictments. He was convicted on 1. If he had gone to trial on the documents case specifically, he would have gone to prison. He was that guilty on that case. Says me.
Who?
Says me. Says Jack Smith. So says Jack Smith, who would have indicted. Well, do you know what he was charged with? Do you know what he did? Did you read the indictment? Jack Smith charged him for. Hold on, guy. Let me finish. The federal government doesn't. The federal government doesn't indict you unless they can convict you. They have a 98% conviction rate. 98%. I think it's actually higher than 98%. So the federal government says. But if you read the indictment, you would actually understand that Donald Trump's case was less about willful retention and more about his obstruction of justice to maintain possession of these classified documents.
Was the guy in New York?
No, this is a federal case in Mar-a-Lago. This is the documents case. But that case the problem is with Trump supporters, you guys, you don't know anything about those cases. So you saying that he didn't do it or it's a witch hunt by the Department of Justice.
Well, it's because all this stuff.
Hold on. It's simply because none of you Trump supporters have read the indictment. I have. That case is mostly made up of obstruction of justice charges. The lengths Donald Trump went to maintain possession of those classified documents. It's less about his willful retention, and it's more about his obstruction of justice, lying to investigators, lying on an affidavit, ignoring a government subpoena, ordering boxes after receiving a government subpoena, lying to investigators, enlisting people to destroy evidence. They didn't want to indict Donald Trump, but he refused to cooperate with the investigation over 14 months, and they had to. 18 months. and they had to. They had to. Ham, thank you for the $5 super chat. Guy just admitted it. The wages are too low. Exactly. This is exactly what I said before. So, this is the point, man. Look, you have a lot of like surface level information and you draw large opinions from surface level information. Had you actually understood these indictments, you would realize Donald Trump probably should never be in the position he's in right now ever again. That's largely why he got elected. He relies, he of course he's going to dismiss their credibility because he doesn't want you to read them.
Let me ask you this though. If they dig as deep into any of these politicians as they did against Donald Trump, don't you think they're going to pull some skeletons out of every single one of their closets?
Well, I can say in Biden's case...
Isn't that a problem with the entire political system? Every single... Joe Biden, who's been in politics since since the 60s or 70s or whatever, don't you think that all of these politicians, when you dig as deep into their closets as they did Trump's, that they're going to pull something out?
No, because, we saw Joe Biden we saw Joe Biden get investigated by Robert Hur, right? Robert Hur investigated Joe Biden and determined what? That there was no intent. He didn't obstruct justice like Donald Trump. In fact, if you had read Robert Hur's report into the investigation of Joe Biden, his willful retention investigation on whether or not to indict him, they actually state very specifically the difference between these two cases is Joe Biden voluntarily returned the documents, sat down for voluntary interviews, allowed for the search of his property, while Donald Trump went to great lengths to obstruct justice, refused to cooperate with the government subpoena, lied on an affidavit, lied to investigators, enlisted people to destroy evidence. Donald Trump's obstruction of justice is what got him indicted. Ultimately, that's what got him indicted.
In this specific case.
Yeah, but I'm giving you an example of a guy who was investigated for a similar crime, right? And then the distinct difference between the two. No, there isn't a president who would have obstructed justice. You're still not listening. You're saying, would we find these things?
Come on, bro.
Obstruction of justice was the primary reason he got indicted. So no, we wouldn't have seen obstruction of justice to the lengths Donald Trump went to maintain possession of those documents. Maybe willful retention. Maybe there's some like willful retention examples you could bring up, but as it pertains specifically to the obstruction of justice, absolutely not. And I refuse to allow it to be normalized.
You don't think that any of these lifetime politicians, you dig into their histories, that they haven't done felony level shit?
And you should indict them too, if that's the case. But that doesn't change what Donald Trump did. Right? Homicide occurs every day in this country. It doesn't make it okay for you to go kill someone tonight. Right? It's wrong. And it's illegal. And he broke the law. And that's all that matters. And furthermore, it's not even about the criminal indictments as it pertains to the Constitution, because according to Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, he's not supposed to be president either. There's a million different reasons I could give, because he engaged in insurrection. So to constitutionally, he's not
ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. It's not ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, why is it ridiculous?
That's one of the big things too, man. Like, he engaged in an insurrection. He wanted this little tiny group of MAGA supporters to overthrow the government because he didn't call them off within an hour. And that's so
It was
ridiculous.
way more than an hour. It was almost 3 hours. It was over 3 hours, but okay. The point.
Almost 3 hours. Okay. They were going to overthrow the government.
Okay. So I'll explain this to you.
That was an insurrection. That was your big gripe with it.
Do you know why we call it an insurrection?
An insurrection is where you overthrow the government, right?
No, an insurrection is an uprising against the government. You're talking about what's called a coup d'etat. You don't even understand the definition of insurrection.
Well, whatever.
So the reason we call it an insurrection, since you don't understand,
I don't talk about this shit every day.
Do you know why it's an insurrection? It's an insurrection because they stopped the will of the people. They stopped the certification for over 7 hours under the threat of death, right? Hang Mike Pence. They were going to
threat of death.
Yeah, they were chanting to hang the vice president, dude. They had gallows out front.
Do you listen to what these chants are whenever they're marching?
They had gallows outside of the Capitol building. Okay, they
A real
interrupted.
gallows. They built real gallows
Yes.
outside the Capitol building
Yes.
to
Yes.
kill Mike Pence.
Yes.
That's so
All right.
ridiculous.
Listen, this is
That's
what the,
so ridiculous. If
this
you
is-
watch the actual film, the cops were
Yes.
inviting half of those people into the Capitol.
That's not what happened. You're talking
They
about
were
a
scared they were going to go in there as a murderous coup.
Nope, not true. You're talking about a Tucker Carlson hit piece, right? That essentially mischaracterizes the
Watch
timeline
the
of
video
events.
where the cops are walking down the hallway.
But you don't understand the timeline of events. That's after hours of fighting with the police to keep them out of the Capitol building. Like that's what you're not understanding. Towards the end, they open the doors. Guys, get in, do what you're going to do and get out of here. Do what you're going to do and get out of here. They did not let people in. Explain to me. They broke windows by the Columbus door to enter the building. How do you let people in that are already inside?
And okay.
All right,
You
watch this.
think
I won't dispute with you.
Donald
Watch.
Trump.
Hold on. I won't dispute it with you. I will pull up the video right now on my live. So hold on a second. Just sit there.
Okay. Pull it up.
Yep. I'm going to pull it up. And I'm going to show you where they entered
Get back to the
the
live.
Capitol building. Yep, go back to the live. I'm going to put you on hold real quick so you can watch the video while you're waiting. Hold on. I'm putting you on hold real quick so you can watch the video while you're waiting,
Gotcha.
okay? All right.
Yeah, I'm watching.
All right, let me just bring this up real quick. I mean, the truth is the truth. You guys can laugh these things off as not serious or not happening, but so that's them breaking into the Capitol building. That's them breaking into the Capitol building. So would you like to tell me what your thoughts are now? How do you let people in that are already inside?
Well, I said some people, first off.
Wait a second. Why
Not
would
all
you
of
open the doors? They're already inside. They broke in. The doors were already open.
So
Already
in that video, there was a group of like 5 or 6 guys jumping in through a window, right?
That's where they broke the window to enter, yes. So the point
Yeah,
is you
yeah.
wouldn't let people in who are already inside. That doesn't make any sense. You can't let people in who are already inside. That's not logical. They're already inside. What you're not understanding is they were never let in.
Those 5 or 6. Those 5 or 6.
Okay, so
right?
if they were let in, why would they have to break through the window?
Those 5 or 6 broke
So
in the
you
window,
think
right?
there's just 5 or 6 that only broke through the window? No, that's them breaking the window. They all started crawling through after that, and then they opened the
All of
doors
them
and
did.
let
All
the
of them
rest.
broke through windows to get in.
No, they opened the doors once they got inside.
Okay.
So again, the point
So
is this:
those 5 or 6 broke in the window
not
and opened the
5 or
doors,
6,
and then the
dude.
rest
Why
of
are
them
you
came
being
in.
Why are you being disingenuous? You know, I thought you were listening.
Because that's
at
what I
least-
just watched.
No, because what you're telling, because the video didn't go on for 3 hours. Should I show you 3 hours of the window? Of course,
All right.
I'm showing you the
How
beginning.
How many people got into the Capitol total?
I don't know. Over 1,000 were prosecuted, so quite a few.
1,000?
Yeah, definitely.
1,000 people went into the Capitol that day?
Well, more than 1,000 people were prosecuted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so they got into the Capitol, then what happened? They walked through the halls. What did they do?
I don't know. Who entered the Capitol was, I don't know, a few thousand people. They did all sorts of stuff.
A few thousand people went into the Capitol.
Yep. And did all sorts of
I'm trying to figure out where this was an insurrection. That's what
Okay,
I'm trying to.
I already
I'm not being
I already
disingenuous.
explained.
I'm
Okay.
really trying to
Let me
figure this
explain
out
it to you.
because
Let
I
me
hear
expl-
this all the time. This
I'll
was an
explain it to you.
insurrection,
No problem. I'll explain it to you.
and it sounds
Wet
like crap.
popcorn. Wet popcorn. Thank you for the $2 super chat, dude. Antifa first, peaceful second. Pardoned by Trump. Appreciate you, wet popcorn. Let me explain this. So, where does it become an insurrection? It becomes an insurrection when you stop the will of the people. What was happening on January 6th? The certification. They stopped the certification.
Yeah.
So you stopped the will of the people. That's an insurrection. That's an uprising against the government. You successfully stopped the will of the people. Now you ask me, what criminal action did they take? Well, they did all sorts of stuff. They broke property. They smeared feces on the wall. They peed. They did all sorts of shit.
No, I'm saying
stole things.
What did Donald Trump do?
Assaulted police officers
for these people to do it.
Sure. What did Donald Trump do? So Donald Trump, and we're referring, and I can't believe I have to explain this. I really, there's only a few times I've had to explain this over the last.
I don't pay attention that much to this stuff.
Okay,
like,
but,
it's not. I don't watch this every day. You know what I mean?
So as it pertains to the Constitution in Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, Donald Trump engaged in insurrection by telling people that an election was stolen, inviting them to the Capitol building for a Stop the Steal rally, where he proceeded to use the word fight over 20 times, tell people that they're about to lose their country if they don't fight like hell. If you read the superseding indictment of the third criminal indictment, the conspiracy to defraud the United States, you would see that they actually laid out what Donald Trump was doing in those 3 hours that he left the ellipse and went to the White House. And what we found out, right, is that Donald Trump was literally sitting in the White House dining hall where they were begging him to go out and tell people to go home. So I don't have to prove intent through his language, right, saying fight, although I could, considering the context. We're talking about a guy claiming that they're about to lose their country if they don't fight like hell because the election was stolen from them. Fight can only mean one thing at that point, right, considering the context. But I don't have to prove his intent that way.
I don't think
you know
fight
how
can
I
only
can.
mean one
You know
thing
how
when you're talking about that context.
Do you know how I prove? You know how I prove his intent? His unwillingness to go out and tell people to go home for 3 hours, sitting in the White House dining hall, and people coming up to him and telling him, hey, why are you not going? You need to go out and tell people, including his own son. You need to go out and tell people to go home, right? You need to tell people to go home. If Donald Trump did not mean for people to storm the United States Capitol, he would have been out there the minute he saw it happening, but he wasn't, was he? He was sitting
You're
there.
Reading into that.
He was
There's
sitting
nothing,
there. He was sitting. Excuse me. It's in the superseding indictment that they went up to him and told him that they were feet away from his vice president.
Yeah, no, I believe that.
Excuse me. Let me finish. They said they went up to him and they were feet away from him, and that they told him that they were feet away from his vice president, and they were chanting, "Hang Mike Pence," and he said, "So what?" He let it happen. That's what proves the intent. I don't have to waste my time going back and forth about what. Listen, I don't have to waste my time going back and forth about whether or not the word fight is provocative, because his lack of action after he's watching the Capitol unfold, or that's the insurrection unfold at the Capitol on television, proves his intent. That proves his unwillingness to correct it. Because if, say, I'm the president and I use provocative language and I accidentally provoke people to commit this behavior, I'm the first fucking one out there saying, "Excuse me, guys, that's not at all what I meant." But he didn't, did he? He let it happen. He let them hide and go to shelter for safety. He let his vice president and his family almost get unalived because he wanted it to happen.
You're reading into that. You got this guy demonized. You think he's this monster. So whenever you see stuff, you read into it in that way. You read into a whole lot from what we just talked about into his intentions.
Not because I dislike him.
All you can look at is the facts.
Yeah, but I dislike him because of his actions.
It obviously is.
But I dislike him because of his actions, because he doesn't give a shit about the Constitution. And this comes out because we're talking about a part of the Constitution that prohibits you from being president if you engage in this particular behavior. You asked me to substantiate that he engaged in that behavior, and I'm simply proving to you engaged in. If you're going to tell me, right, that doesn't fit the term engaged in, then you're being disingenuous.
I am absolutely not being disingenuous when I tell you that I do not think that fits the criteria of engaged in.
Wow.
At all.
So the guy who perpetuated the lie that made the people angry, the guy who invited them there, the guy then that provoked them to commit the particular action, and the only guy who could tell them to go home refused to do so, didn't engage in the behavior to stop the certification? Are you kidding
Everything that you just said, every part that you just said, those three things, are things that you read into and are twisting it to be that way.
No, I'm not twisting
He did
it.
not tell them to raid the Capitol.
Wait, how am I twisting his
He didn't.
So if he, so let's say he
Did he say raid the Capitol?
Excuse me. Again,
Did he say go murder Mike
I don't
Pence?
need to argue whether or not his language was provocative to prove intent, which is why I didn't waste my time. Right? I simply referred to the superseding indictment as lack of action sitting in the White House dining hall when they're begging him to come out and tell people to go home. I don't have, so explain to me, if you don't mean for this to happen, why do you not come out right away and tell these people to go home? They're beating police officers. Elected officials are ducking they're being rushed to safety. Like, why don't you come out and tell them immediately, guys, I didn't mean this, go home. Give me one legitimate justification why you don't come out immediately and do that.
I mean, there could be a multitude of reasons. I have no idea.
Not according to
I'm not
eyewitness
reading into
testimony.
it, though, like you are. I'm not attributing all these negative thoughts and motivations the way you are. I have no idea. I wasn't in the room. I don't know what was said. I have no idea. There could be a million different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not attributing these negative, demonization like characteristics that you are to what he was trying to do that day.
Let me say this really quick, and before we wrap this up, you are refusing to look at the truth. You are avoiding the truth because it's uncomfortable for you. And what I'm saying, you know damn well. You know damn well what I'm saying makes sense. I know you know it.
I don't.
Okay.
I know. I promise you I don't.
Okay. Well, have a good day. Take care.
Yeah, you too, brother.
Call from
Jimmy.
Jimmy, how old are you and do you support Trump? Jimmy, guys, by the way, if you're new here, I would appreciate contributing to the Super Chat goal. I would appreciate hitting the thumbs up button. And if you're new here, please subscribe. I debate every single day now, except I take the occasional weekend off on YouTube. I try and do as many days as I can. So I can't say every day, but almost every day. I come from TikTok. I just started debating on YouTube. So I'm new to YouTube. I've only been on here since about January. And I just started debating about a week ago. I usually debate on TikTok, but I started to decide to expand my platform a little bit. So I would appreciate...
Call from
Charles.
I would appreciate...
To accept,
subscribing.
press 1. To send a voicemail.
Charles, are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, I am.
To the person on hold, you have to wait on hold, and I'll go to you next. Charles, why are you a Trump supporter?
A lot of reasons. If you want to get into the big one, two-way, or I could tell you another reason.
All right, let's do it. Let's start there.
Let's
start there.
Is that the Second Amendment?
Yeah, that's something different. Okay, so why would you vote for? You would voted for Donald Trump because of 2A. So I'm sure your argument more or less is going to refer to being in opposition of Kamala Harris's policies regarding the Second Amendment, correct?
More or less correct. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
the whole Democrat Party is anti-Second Amendment.
Cool. So let's start with the fact that Donald Trump, number one, during his first term, banned bump stocks, which was overturned by the
bump stocks, correct.
Excuse me. Can you just let me make my argument? So if you're about defending the Second Amendment, Donald Trump banned bump stocks, which was deemed unconstitutional by the Supreme Court in violation of the Second Amendment. Number two, Donald Trump has openly stated multiple times that he supports taking firearms before due process occurs, even before red flag laws, which in those cases a judge writes the order. So why would you vote for Donald Trump to protect the Second Amendment? Doesn't make much sense.
Donald Trump was a Democrat. He was a registered Democrat most of his life. Only recently did he switch to the right wing. He was, I can't remember the name, but he was misled on certain policies to still act that way. He's new to the right wing. He doesn't exactly know anything, and the proof of that is in his second term. He's not going after forced reset triggers, which are basically the same thing as bump stocks, if not more fully automatic. And he's, under his presidency, we're getting rid of the $200 tax stamp, which is unconstitutional, for NFA items.
So you're telling me that Donald Trump, this doesn't refer to Kamala Harris policies then, but specifically, you're saying Donald Trump didn't He was misled. This is when he was president. I don't know what you're talking about. These are things he did when he was president. These are things that
There is a stark difference between his first term and his second term about how he's going after.
No, there isn't.
certain
No, there
policies.
isn't. He just recently made a statement that he believes that we should take firearms away from people that are dangerous because the court system takes too long. He's been very vague about his position there, but it's most definitely unconstitutional.
When was the
in
last
regards to
time
the
you
First
said
Amendment.
that?
I don't know, a couple months ago, I think. The last time I heard him say it, it was brought up in he says crazy people, but it doesn't matter who's making that determination if it doesn't go in front of a judge, right? It's got to go in front of a judge. Do you support red flag laws?
I think they are hugely problematic.
Okay, why?
Red flag laws, depending how you believe in it, if it doesn't go in front of a judge, you can essentially have your gun rights taken away before a crime is committed or for a thought crime even.
Yeah, but what do you mean if it doesn't go in front of a judge? They require going before a judge for judicial review. You can't
I
have
have heard red flag laws in two different ways.
No, they're not. So a red flag law goes in front of a judge, right? It's basically the court petitions the judge. The judge reviews the petition, then issues what's called an ERPO, okay, extreme risk protection order. It goes in front of a judge. So, like, what the only thing you could argue potentially unconstitutionally is that the defendant, right, the respondent to the order, doesn't have to be present for the decision to be made. So the judge simply
I think
takes.
that's hugely problematic.
And I understand why you could say that, but it's not. It's not been deemed unconstitutional. So the judge basically looks at the evidence, weighs the evidence, and determines, okay, with the evidence I have before me, could that person potentially be a danger? Let me explain something that goes into this, though. A lot of times these are dropped. The burden is extremely low, right? They don't require much to do it, but it's at a judge's discretion because it's been extremely useful in preventing specifically domestic violence-related homicide. David Bianchi, thank you for the $2. I hope I said that
there
right.
is no Otis.
1 second, bro. David Bianchi, thank you so much. Cheers from Germany. Appreciate you, buddy. I appreciate the support. Seriously. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The judge can in no way be reprimanded for taking away somebody else's right if nothing happened. Like if it's found out later that it was premeditated by like bad evidence or someone was out to get this guy to take him away for whatever reason or to give him a hard time. There is nothing to stop that judge from being punished for that.
Well, here's the thing: the judge wouldn't be punished because the judge is not lying. You're talking about if the person filing the petition lied.
It could also fall on the judge depending how it goes down.
No, it wouldn't go on the judge. The judge is simply looking at evidence and making a determination with a low burden of proof. That's all the judge is doing. Now, the person themselves can get in trouble if they make false statements with malicious intent, although difficult to prove. When you petition the court, you provide information under oath. So if you provide false information, you absolutely can be criminally charged. And you know how I know that? I've seen it happen. Okay, people who perjured themselves and filed a false report. You cannot lie. Now, again, is it common? No, because it's difficult. Is it typically sought or followed through with? No. But courts absolutely can decide, hey, I think this was done with malicious intent through a series of hearings, and the evidence to support the claim that the person poses a significant risk was a lie and done with malicious intent. And that person can face legal consequences because they lied under oath. And then the petition's dismissed. But what I'm telling you is you go to court, the petition typically gets dismissed if you didn't do it, and then your firearms returned upon request. Julie No One, thank you for the $5 super chat. Keep on collecting the absolute shoes. Thank you so much, Julie. Appreciate you so much. Go ahead.
We're kind of getting to the weeds of things on a topic that I didn't really care to argue. But are you saying that you're now supporting Trump's policy because he's all for red flag laws?
Yeah, but so are Democrats. I've always supported red flag laws before Trump was even a fucking thing. So red flag laws are important.
The point I was trying to more get at is he's not pursuing leftist or right or left wing anti-Second Amendment policy.
No, but the point is, like, in regards
he's
to
not,
this,
he's not actively going after FRTs. He's not actively going after SBRs. He's not actively going against.
So what
any
piece of
NSA
legislation?
item.
What piece of legislation are you saying Democrats are using to go after these things?
I mean, California is attempting to ban anything over a 10-round magazine limit. I think it's Colorado recently banned the AR-15 in general. There's almost, 50 million or 100 million AR-15s that they're arguing are
This
not
doesn't have
nominated.
anything to do with Trump, though. These are decisions that are made at a state level. So, what specifically?
You're right. It has more to do with a left wing versus right wing.
That's also
hard
not
policy.
true. Like, you can still possess you can still possess an AR-15 in Colorado, right? You don't think they're confiscating AR-15s, right?
Yeah, but they're not. They're letting you have it. The purpose of the Second Amendment is to fight a tyrannical government.
Yeah,
You
but
were supposed to have
no,
the
but the
same
Second
arm
Amendment-
as that tyrannical government.
The Second Amendment pertains to possession of these weapons. Possession,
Yeah,
not
it
manufacturing.
says nothing about limiting you to 10 rounds.
Okay,
it says
but-
nothing about 10-round magazine limits.
Yeah, but there's nothing that says there is. It's the point is that
It doesn't need to be. There's nothing said.
So then
the
they can
First Amendment
challenge
doesn't
it.
say,
Then
say
they can
anything you want.
Then they can challenge it in court, right? And whatever. But it's a state decision, right? These are and typically they are
It's
contested.
not just a state decision when it comes to the $200 NFA tax. $200 in 1950.
What
when
piece
it
of
was,
legislation are we
when the bill
referring
was
to? I have to look at the legislation you're talking about. Democrats are trying to do that Trump doesn't want passed. What is it?
It's not technically legislation. It's more that the right wing is trying to get rid of I can't remember the exact name, but it's the whatever act banned or added a $200 tax stamp to machine guns.
Okay, well, I'm not familiar, but what I can tell you is that, like, as just it strictly pertains to the Second Amendment, I think I made a pretty good case that the individual you voted for, right, banned bump stocks, which was in violation of the Second Amendment, has repeatedly advocated for taking firearms at the discretion of police officers, and that's even worse than a red flag law. So if you don't like red flag laws, then that's
Kamala
definitely-
Harris be any better than Donald Trump?
Okay, what was Kamala Harris's
Well,
second?
why would Kamala Harris be any better than Donald Trump?
Because her policies weren't unconstitutional.
I can't even recall her ever saying her Second Amendment policy other than it's probably similar than Biden's or
Sure,
Obama's.
I'll tell you. Sure. So her Second Amendment policy were things like voluntary buyback programs, incentivizing people to turn in firearms they don't use anymore, so we have less firearms floating around. Would you agree with that?
So you're going to have an old farmer turn in a $50 double-barreled shotgun for $250.
Well, so we don't know. I don't know specifically what
99%.
Go ahead.
So you can look into it on your own time, but most of the firearms that are actually sold back to the government or the government buys are firearms that would almost never, ever be used in a mass shooting. In a mass shooting or gang violence.
Where'd you get this from?
I can't quite recall the source. You probably would not like it because it's probably some more right-wing or pro-firearm source, but you can...
Yeah, NRA source. I probably wouldn't like it, honestly. Thank you for at least admitting it.
Likely, yeah.
Wet popcorn. MAGA's okay with a handout as long as they receive always. Thank you, Wet Popcorn. Thank you to everybody contributing. Guys, you can also contribute in the link tree in my bio. There's a Venmo and Cash App in there. I'd appreciate the support if you guys do enjoy the content every day, either on TikTok or here. Let me just explain something real quick to you. So, you're not giving me a legitimate source, but I think what that policy would depend on is what the incentives were. So, like, I don't think we can have a legitimate conversation about whether or not that would be an effective policy without knowing what how they were going to incentivize, and unfortunately we didn't get a chance to understand. I don't think that was ever disclosed completely, but I obviously am on board with it. If you can't give me a single policy that shows people wouldn't turn in firearms that are used in mass shootings, I don't think it's a legitimate argument. Do you think there should be universal background checks for all gun sales? Do you think we should close existing loopholes in every state in this country, including loopholes like the Charleston loophole?
I'm unfamiliar with the Charleston loophole.
So the Charleston loophole is a loophole referred to as the Charleston loophole because it was used by the Charleston church shooter, Dylan Roof, who had a felony drug charge by admission and was able to purchase a firearm because they did not have ample time to complete the background check, which was 3 days. Most states, I believe, or at least half the states, almost half the states in the country, I think, have extended it to 10 is last time I checked. I don't debate 2A that often. But regardless, closing loopholes that allow felons to purchase firearms because gun dealers only have 3 days to conduct the background check. Do you think we should close loopholes like that?
I don't think that's necessarily even a loophole. It's not the seller that actually completes the background check. It's the federal government. If a federal agency is supposed to conduct a background check within 3 days, because after 3 days, why are they allowed to hold up your right to own a Second Amendment?
Because I think 3 days is not ample time. Because I don't think 3 days is. First of all, gun dealers, you're saying don't complete a firearm sale. They conduct the back.
They have them fill out the paperwork.
Right, but they still have to. But it still needs
a
to be done within a certain period. The gun person has the dealer has the 3 day limit, so they have to complete that within 3 days. If the FBI doesn't finish background,
it's not the dealer.
No, I understand the dealer's I understand the dealer's not physically conducting the background check, right? But what I'm saying is, if they don't complete it within 3 business days, do you think they should be able to purchase the firearm?
Yes. There needs to be a limit in place so the government can artificially take away your rights, because they're just going to say, oh, it takes us 100 days to get our gun.
Okay,
or to get you your paperwork so you can buy the gun.
Okay, what's the downside? What is the downside of allowing the federal government 10 days to complete a background check for people who are potentially dangerous?
If you want to argue 10 days, sure, but you didn't. This is the first time I'm hearing you say 10 days. Possibly.
Yeah.
10 days is enough,
it's not the first time I've said 10 days. I said a lot of states have have extended it to 10 days. What are you talking about?
Okay.
So it hasn't been. It hasn't.
I mean, 10 days might be reasonable.
States have passed laws, right, that you require a background checks. Basically, states have required laws that you basically have to complete the background check before you can sell the gun. Right. So in Congress, the Enhanced Background Checks Act of 2023, which extended it from 3 to 10 business days. So that way, that's ample time to review it and finish the background check so a sale can be completed. What's the downside of allowing 10 days?
So here's my fear: is you can look this up. Very recently, I think it was only a year or two now, if you wanted to buy a suppressor, the background check for an NFA item, like a suppressor, used to take 9 months. It now takes 3 to 5 days, sometimes only 2 if you're very clean and you already bought one before.
Okay.
People were waiting. The federal government was withholding paperwork or keeping it in a pile, possibly running it multiple times over the same 9 months, but they were just holding on it, withholding your right to hold a firearm item for no reason other than just making you wait.
Okay, but there's a lot that goes into that, right?
Not really. A law changed. They said that you have, after 7 days, you're withholding somebody's right. After that, you got it within 3 to 4 days.
All right, regardless, what does this have to do with the Enhanced Background Check Act of 2023? Because we're giving you a 10-day. There's a 10-day limit, so you would be 10 days. They extended it from 3 to 10. Is 10 days? What's the downside of waiting an extra week to ensure that dangerous people are not possessing firearms with the intent to unalive children in school, per se?
I would say that's dangerous. I'd say it's a dangerous precedent to give the government any more or to even more time to fucking take away your rights.
But what if there's a limit? 10 days.
20 days. 20 days is safer. Why not 30 days?
But it doesn't matter. Slope. Now you're playing this slippery slope argument that we shouldn't attempt to try and make, the country safer because, God forbid, they might pass another piece of legislation if they get away with this legislation. That's not a legitimate argument. It's called the slippery slope argument, and it's honestly not a legitimate argument. 10 days. 10 days to Give me the downside if it's 10 days and it stays there. Is there one?
You're withholding people's rights for 5 days for artificial reasons.
Why?
For the 0.001% chance that somebody bad gets a gun.
Okay, so you can't give me a legitimate downside of waiting 10 days.
No, and I can't give you a downside to it being lowered to 1 day.
Okay, so then you don't have a legitimate argument then.
I'd say it's a very legitimate argument. I just think we disagree.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling in, dude. I'm going to try and move to the next person. Thanks for calling in.
Immigration. You got me heated on immigration.
All right, bro. Thanks. Take care. What's going on, 248? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes. Oh, my God. I feel like I'm in the 90s. Am I caller number 9? Did I say the phrase that pays?
No, I put people on hold now so more people can't keep calling in while I'm on a call. What's going on?
Not much. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good.
Yes, I am. I am supporting the GOP right now. As a Democrat of my entire life, I just find that cable news and social media has turned the left into something I don't recognize, and I feel like pretty much all of their talking points are filled with lies by omission, out of context, not really.
Whose lies?
And let's throw a dart in any direction, and let's fill in the context. It really doesn't matter what the topic is. What were you guys talking about? Guns?
Yeah. Are you a Democrat or Republican?
So I've been a liberal my entire life. I still consider myself supporting the GOP right now.
So you're a liberal who supports Trump.
Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't. And I can simply
I believe.
Let's start with the Constitution, right? So that's where we're going to start with any argument that someone doesn't give me a specific topic. Specifically, do you think Donald Trump is respecting the Constitution, upholding his oath?
In what way is he disrespecting it? Tariffs? What's
Sure,
your? I don't know what
in every way you could possibly imagine. Let's start with the First Amendment.
There is a long set precedent of presidents having executive power to use tariffs. And frankly, I
didn't give you a reason yet. I didn't say tariffs.
Well, you said tariffs.
No, I didn't. I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not trying to be confrontational. I like having these discussions. I'm not trying to be a jerk.
You're not confrontational. I'm just trying to. I have a lot of people waiting and stuff. I'm just trying to move through people as quick as I can to give everyone a chance to call. So, let's start with the First Amendment. Do you know your first 5 amendments?
The first one is speech. Second one is the right to bear arms. Shit, man, you're putting me on the spot. No, I fifth is the right to representation and to not incriminate yourself. The third
so
and the
you
fourth.
don't know your first 5 amendments. Okay, so that's the biggest reason why you're not going to understand that Donald Trump is disrespecting people's constitutional rights or not upholding his oath. So starting with the First Amendment, I would refer to a couple of specific things that I think concern me about speech. And I'll bring them up to you, right? And I'll move through them as quick as we can, and then you can address them one by one. Number one, he recently wrote an executive order that targets people for burning the American flag. Burning the American flag is a constitutionally protected right.
Oh, I'm completely against that.
Okay, so you're against. So you just said he wasn't. He was upholding his constitutional oath, and now you're agreeing with me on the first thing I said that's unconstitutional. That's remarkable. So then you realize he's not upholding his oath.
If I can just,
literally the
political
first
parties
thing
is like
you
2
agreed
different
with
salad
me.
bars.
The first thing you agreed with me on.
100%. You got me, brother. I don't believe. Do you believe in everything that the Democrats do? Of course not. That's silly. It's like the political parties are like 2 different salad bars. You don't want everything from each salad bar. You just have to pick the one. I mean, I would love to pick from both salad bars, ideally, but I can't do that.
Let me just break this down. So there's not one argument as it pertains to each amendment. I can give you multiple arguments pertaining to each amendment just off the top of my head. So first, I would start with directives like that specific one, right? Targeting a constitutionally protected form of symbolic speech. Burning the flag is a constitutionally protected right in Texas since 1989, when the Supreme Court determined this in Texas v. Johnson. Number 2, Donald Trump has made efforts to criminalize Antifa as an ideology. Rory, thank you so much, Rory. I appreciate you. To criminalize Antifa as an ideology, which I believe is absolutely in violation of the First Amendment. You can't criminalize people's.
They are. engaged in terrorism. I mean, they're against the government and against the people. I don't love it, but I mean, there's an argument there.
Okay, there isn't, though. What is Antifa? You're going to have to provide me leadership structure, decision makers atop that leadership structure, funding.
Yeah, so
methods,
Antifa is
indirect,
deliberately not centralized so that they can say, oh, we're not centralized. Like, that's the whole, like, smart, very smart of them. Good job for them.
Cool, so let me
like, they're deliberately not centralized, but they are centralized in a way that, you know, I don't think they have a, by the way, do you remember, do you remember the Department of, what was it?
Here, let me
do you
just
remember
ask my
all
question.
of the stuff?
Let me ask my question really quick, and I'll debunk this really quick. You think they're a terror organization? Can you tell me? I'm gonna prove this with a simple question. Can you tell me one thing that Antifa has done that MAGA hasn't done?
Yeah. So, just the left in general, like we can talk about.
No.
BLM,
Stop. You saying the left in general actually proves my point that this.
Okay,
is
you're right. I'm not trying to make that faith argument.
Please stop talking.
All right.
You saying the left in general, I just want to establish this for the people listening. Him saying the left in general actually proves my point that this is an attempt to create a criminal pretext to criminalizing leftism, liberalism, the left side of the political spectrum as a whole. Notice how he said he went right to the left side of the political spectrum, because yes, the left side of the political spectrum in terms of their ideology would be anti-fascist, because the far right side of the political spectrum is fascist. So you just proved my point there, but I'll go a step further. Give me a single thing that Antifa has done that MAGA hasn't done.
I am not, I know that they are stopping officers trying to do their job. They are generally just meant to antagonize. They want to
one at a time. So you have to do one. I can't break 4 or 5 things down at once.
You keep teeing me up to answer these, and you won't let me answer.
You got to do one at a time. You can't give me 5 things at once. Let's address one thing at a time. So they're interfering with police officers. You mean like Trump supporters did on January 6th? I asked you to give me one thing Antifa's done that MAGA hasn't done.
Sure. So I would like to, and this is, so the January 6th hadn't happened. Okay, I'll give you $10,000 check right now if you can tell me what Trump did to, instigate January 6th. A bunch of morons went into the building. I'm so sorry about that. Truly, I am. But like, you guys keep bringing it up. Like, they did $1 million worth of damage. Do you remember BLM Suburb? $2 billion in damage. They took over entire cities like Chaz. Do you remember Bunker Boy when they attacked the White House? They went after federal buildings and courthouses. There was dozens and dozens, 24 deaths, thousands of injuries. That was 1,000 times what January 6th was. And I'm not talking about it all the time because I don't care. It's in the past. Hello?
I'm hesitant to even answer because I've already asked you again. Can you give me one single thing Antifa has done that MAGA hasn't done?
Yes. BLM Summer was an order. That was not Antifa. I'm not familiar with what Antifa does. I'm sure I can give you a rap sheet of all of the crimes they've committed.
Right?
Okay. How about murdering Charlie Kirk? That guy was Antifa. They're not actually a real organization, but I mean, he was Antifa adjacent.
Can you give
how about
me one thing Antifa's done that MAGA hasn't done?
Can you give me something that MAGA has done that Antifa hasn't?
Yeah,
it's kind of a weirdly worded question.
So you want to reverse the question? I'm not claiming MAGA is a criminal organization. The point is it's an ideology, and it would be illegal to criminalize a set of beliefs, which is why it's never been done. Can you simply tell me, since the Red Scare, can you give me can you give me a difference between or something Antifa's done that MAGA hasn't done to prove that it's a criminal organization? Because if the case is they haven't done anything different, then guess what?
MAGA is a terrorist organization? Is that your logic?
Means that you're establishing a precedent that will allow for the criminalization of your ideology if a Democrat ever gets elected to the presidency.
100%. And like I said, there's lots of things I don't like about the GOP, but the left lost me when, according to the Department of Homeland Security.
Remember when I said I would prove you wrong within 5 minutes? Here we are.
No, you didn't. You I could throw a dart in any direction, and you gave me this really esoteric kind of thing. Like the reason the left lost me is because according to the Department of Homeland Security, 21 million people they dumped in to cancel out the votes of 21 million red voters. That was the most fucked up thing I've ever seen in my life.
Now? What's this guy arguing now?
Under the Biden administration,
you said you were going to give me $10,000 if I could prove Donald Trump incited an insurrection. Sure, do you have $10,000?
Yeah, I do, but you can't because it never happened. That's why he wasn't charged with anything. No one was ever charged with an insurrection.
He was charged. He was charged with conspiracy. Excuse me, you're wrong. People were charged.
He was charged for January 6th. No, sir.
He was charged.
They gave him.
Guy, the third criminal indictment pertains to what happened on January 6th. What are you talking about?
Okay, so
what's your argument? Shut up. Shut up. What your argument is, right? Is that he didn't engage in insurrection. He wasn't charged with insurrection. People who stormed the Capitol were charged with sedition. That is insurrection. They were charged with seditious conspiracy. The word insurrection comes from Section 3 of the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, which we refer to as the Insurrection Clause. Okay, that's why we use the word insurrection. The legal term
is semantics.
Seditious. It's not semantics. You're just not smart enough to have this conversation, and you're trying to act like you're smart, and you're not.
I don't think I'm smart. I just think that, listen, under the past 4 years, Democrats threw 92 indictments, $1 billion in fines, 2 impeachments, a fake civil case, 700 years of prison.
Right,
you want to talk about insurrection? That is using the courts against your political opposition.
Let's break it down.
That is screwed up, man.
I would agree if it was true. I would agree if it was true. Can you tell me which of the 4 criminal indictments were weaponization of the Department of Justice? Let's start with the documents case. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's start with the documents case. So, let's start with the 34 felonies. Okay, that's the one that really I think one of the.
No, he was already convicted in that case. So that case has been convicted by a jury. Start with the documents case, and I already debated that case. I'd like to debate a new one. Can you debate the documents case? Go.
I think the 34 felonies was much more egregious.
You said they were all weaponization of the Justice Department. You should have no problem arguing the documents case.
Just the sheer volume of lawfare they threw at them. I already
dunked on 2 guys on that same topic today.
Well, I wouldn't say dumbfounded. You're kind of jabbing and weaving all over the place. You won't really let me.
Are you kidding me? I literally smashed on the dude that came up here and told me that it was a misdemeanor and trying to claim
it was a misdemeanor. It was a misdemeanor. Recording something in a ledger incorrectly is a misdemeanor that expires after 1 year. That's why the Biden DOJ didn't use it. They was like, this is a misdemeanor. It's nothing, And then Bragg and Alvin Bragg in Manhattan said, we're going to make this a campaign violation. Because, you didn't record this as like a campaign finance, which is insane. So no one's ever been charged with that except for Hillary Clinton.
You don't know
and Hillary Clinton got an $8,000 fine. I'm telling you what happened. Alvin Bragg
New York
said we're going to actually turn this 10-year expired misdemeanor and turn it into
I don't need you to repeat the same thing that's not true. Do you know what New York Penal Law 175.10 is?
No, of course not. I know what recording something in a ledger is.
I'll explain it to you. I'll explain. I don't care about your simplistic understanding. You're a simple guy. So I don't expect you to have a nuanced opinion.
Why are you all so confident in yourself? You're not that right, guy. Like, you all are so 10 toes down confident in yourself.
You're stupid.
It's uncomfortable to watch.
You're really
you have these little curated arguments about stuff like you all aren't.
Listen, you can yap all you want. You're scared to let me talk. You're stupid. Like, in the most polite way. You're not a smart guy. You're a pretty dumb guy.
Okay, you're a smart guy.
So shut the fuck up.
You don't know anything about me.
Shut up and let me answer the question, simpleton. Right? This isn't complicated. I know you again, I asked you to explain the documents case, but of course you can't because you're terrified to do it because you know I'll cook your ass. But very simply put, this is a case that was already he was already convicted by a jury. New York Penal Law 175.10 elevates falsifying business records to a felony if it's done with the intent to commit or conceal another crime. Therefore, what was originally a misdemeanor, right, for falsifying business records becomes a felony when the prosecutor can successfully argue there was an underlying criminal purpose, election interference tied to campaign finance violations. right? So criminal intent to cover up illegal campaign contributions by disguising the hush money payments in business records is the
So are hush money payments illegal? Is it illegal what he did? Were the hush money payments illegal, or did he? No,
Yes.
100% not true.
Oh my
Congress
God.
has a hush money fund.
I am
Congress
so
has a
tired
hush
of
money
proving these guys
fund.
wrong.
No, because hush money isn't illegal. It literally isn't. Show me the law that says hush money is illegal. It doesn't exist.
I've already see that you're trying to what you're trying to do is minimize.
I'm not trying
it by
anything.
saying
Hush money is illegal. Is
I've
not
already
illegal.
There's campaign finance law violations.
Right. That was the tricky stuff that Bragg did.
Which is what
It's,
you
oh,
don't
it's a campaign
understand. But
thing.
it doesn't matter if the intent is done to commit or conceal another crime. It automatically.
What was the other crime? Tell me what the other crime was. Was it hush money? Because hush money is not illegal.
I already answered. You. It's like you guys don't fucking listen to what I said.
Well, then I'm too dumb
I've
to tell
answered
me.
it
So tell
twice
me
now.
again. What was the crime?
I'm going to repeat this.
I'm too dumb to understand.
You clearly fucking are. I've said this multiple times. So the payments themselves were initially disguised as legal expenses in his business records. So prosecutors argued that the falsification was done with the intent to conceal other criminal conduct. Namely, the payments were part of an illegal scheme related to election interference by influencing voters in the 2016 presidential campaign, minimizing the impact on his campaign. So
okay, I'm going to repeat what you said because I'm so dumb. It was intellectual. It was election interference.
I can't. This guy's just too fucking. I can't. He's just too stupid. I've explained it multiple times. Go read New York Penal Law 17510. Go read New York Penal Law 17510. Go read it. It's fucking painful. It's painful how dense. It's actually painful. Jesus Christ. Okay, you think it's painful. You imagine me having to talk to these guys. See how confident that guy is? Like, he actually is confident. He's out of breath because he's fucking nervous. He knows he's fucking wrong. Adam, you give some of these guys too much time. Well, I try and explain it the best I can. I don't know. I feel like I'm doing fine with the time. Guys, by the way, my newsletter. Guys, by the way.
Call from
Mike.
Guys, by the way, my newsletter, my new newsletter on Substack is about 3/4 of the way done. It should be done by either Wednesday or Thursday. But it's a good one. And it's about the future of the Democratic Party related to caving over the shutdown. Mike, are you a Trump supporter?
Marginally, yeah.
Okay, what does that mean? Did you vote for Trump?
I did, yeah.
Okay, why did you vote for Trump?
Well, there were these millionaires and billionaires that have a particular history of actually exploiting people. They were in the process of exploiting people from all over the world, charging them extortionate amounts of money in order to bring them to our border. And they genuinely exploited and abused many, many people along the way. I was pretty confident that at the very least make nearly as much money from doing that. And Trump has at least done that. He's done other things that are not so great, but I am rather pleased with the fact that the millionaires and billionaires who run these cartels are doing a fractional amount of business in terms of taking money from people in exchange for bringing them to our border.
Okay, so you're talking about the cartels, basically. Is that your argument? It was a long-winded explanation to tell me you're happy he's going after cartels. So how do you feel about bombing these vessels, these Venezuelan vessels? Is that an example of something
I
you
don't-
support?
That does seem to be quite extrajudicial. Doesn't seem to be
Right.
any due process involved. So I'm
Yeah.
not great with that. No.
Great. So then what is the because here's my problem, right? When it comes, I'm sure you're obviously talking about the flow of these drugs, such as the F drug. I'm not sure if we can say it on here. We can on TikTok. My issue with that, right, and the approach that the conservatives take is that it involves more criminal punishment, more military action, rather than advocating for health care, affordable and accessible care for people suffering from substance use disorder. When we talk about this issue, I typically look at it like a supply and demand issue, right? Which it is. And we constantly attack the supply portion of this issue without at all addressing the demand. And I believe the demand needs to be addressed with health care, affordable and accessible care for people actively suffering from what we now know, according to science, is a disease with a genetic predisposition. And so I find it even more ridiculous as we've advanced scientifically that we continue to go after substance use disorder, which upholds the market, with criminal punishment and military action instead of health care.
Well, I'm not focused at the moment on the movement of drugs quite so much. That's a little bit peripheral to the main point. The main point has to do with people from all over the world that very often sold whatever they owned and put their life savings toward paying someone in a cartel for the ability to come to our border. They very often got raped along the way. Sometimes the price changed and they had to try and come up with even more money. This is the extortionate fee structure that I'm talking about in terms of moving literally millions of people from all over the world to our border. And I'm pretty happy that Trump has shut it down pretty hard. My question to you is, if a team of Democrats is able to be in charge again, which probably will happen at some point, what would their plan look like for you in order to keep this the way it is, where the cartels do not have this $1 billion per month business model of moving people to our border?
So I don't know what specifically. Are you citing something specifically you would like to show me? You're talking about human trafficking? You're talking about aiding in crossing the border? Like, what specifically is Trump doing that you're talking about?
Well, previously the cartels, like, literally physically controlled the border, and now they do not. So they no longer have the ability to and really, there's no more incentive for people to pay them in order to move them, the people, to the border. There's no confidence that the cartels are going to be able to get them across the
So
border.
where did you grasp that Mexican drug cartels don't exert control over the border anymore? Is this just something you made up?
The most frequently cited number has
From where?
been 94% reduction.
Where's
in
the study? What's the
the
study?
amount of? I don't think I have the specific study, but I think I can get to what some of the sources are.
Yeah, so like, let me just, since you can't cite a study, right? Let me just say this. I am not opposed to protecting our country from the flow of fentanyl or fixing our immigration system to ensure that violent offenders do not come into our country and attempt to obtain legal status or just live here, generally speaking. Is that good? I mean, I don't know what you're exactly asking me, but I absolutely am not opposed to I don't support cartels, if that's what you're insinuating.
Well, I'm really focused on the cartel involvement in people moving. So, like,
And they
people
still are.
from anywhere.
What has Trump done to stop that?
That's been a massive reduction. Are you really disputing that?
Well, you keep saying massive reduction without telling me how or citing a study, a legitimate study.
Okay, so U.S. Department of Homeland Security and U.S. Customs and Border Patrol provide official monthly and annual statistics on border encounters and apprehensions.
Yeah, but what I'm asking you is to provide that
That's-
Mexican drug
that's updated
cartels.
monthly.
But again, what I'm disputing is that Mexican drug cartels are still actively involved in moving people to the border as a part of a smuggling and trafficking operations. As I said previously, they profit certainly from illegal immigration. I think it's incredibly troubling, and I think it needs to stop absolutely. But this idea that it's not occurring anymore under Trump, which was your original claim, and that cartels are no longer facilitating these things, I just don't believe that's true unless you can show me that.
It's at a fraction of the amount. So the UN has the UN does regular reports on, and this is very illegal stuff. It's difficult to get super exact figures, but the UN does put out regular updates on their.
Well, I'll just simplify it, right? Like,
what,
I mean, I don't know. Like, I support like.
Well, I'm trying to put it in context for you.
I get the context, but I'm saying I support comprehensive border security. So why else do you support Trump?
That's really super vague.
Well,
so,
it's not
the
because
context and
because I think
the
that
context that
okay
the
go ahead.
context I'm trying to give you is a comparison of the UN estimate on the usual UN estimate on the total amount of money that is the total amount of revenue that goes toward people moving by illicit means through organized crime. And in a year when Biden is not president, the usual range of estimate that they typically give is somewhere between $5 and $10 billion globally for all illicit people moving and trafficking throughout the world. During the Biden administration, at our border alone, the revenue that the cartels were getting was estimated at about $13 billion.
Yeah, you already
So,
said
like-
this. I get what you're saying. I explained to you. I absolutely support border security. I'm not sure what you're asking me to say, right? I'm not sure what you're asking me to say. Are you trying to use this as I mean, what specifically do you support? What else about Trump do you support? I get what you're saying. What else do you support?
Well, that's the main thing. That's like we're probably not that far apart on most other things, but in my mind,
So do you
it
support
would
the
be
mass
disqualifying
deportation?
for a candidate.
Do you support the mass deportation?
No, I do
aspect?
not.
Okay. Do you don't support the mass deportation?
That's been pretty rough. Yeah.
Okay, because I would argue that that's a form of human trafficking. So
You're
if you,
really ignoring the cartels and their actual human
I'm
trafficking
not,
pretty
I'm not,
hard.
I'm not ignoring it. I don't think you understand that there's different forms of human trafficking. I think Republicans have engaged in
You're-
human trafficking in both Texas and Florida. And I think that if you're a Republican, you would call that out, no?
I think you're pointing to one in order to try really hard to ignore the other. You're also
No,
ignoring
incorrect.
that there was this really historic spike, which is a lot better
Incorrect.
now.
So were you willing to call out the trafficking that occurred in the United States under Republican leadership?
Call it out in what way?
Did you care about it since you care so much about human trafficking?
Well, I'm in a city where a bunch of people came to this city, so I noticed it, yeah.
Okay. And what did you think?
I thought that my city was learning a bit of a lesson in terms of
Where do you live?
what we had to deal with in terms of figuring out what to do with these people, how to get them housed and make sure they're taken care of. And I realized that what my city was dealing with on a per capita basis was a small fraction of what the border communities in Texas had been dealing with for years. And I think that helped me realize
you live in
why so many
Texas?
of those communities flipped.
You live in
No,
Texas?
No, I don't.
You live in Florida?
I live in Chicago.
Oh, you live in Chicago. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm opposed to human trafficking. I just think that it needs to be like your criticism needs to be equal across the board. It's not as if Democrats ignore it, as Republicans have directly engaged in it. So what else do you support of Donald Trump? That can't be the only issue, considering you're watching him tear the country. I mean, I just don't understand. That can't be it.
Well, that's a really big issue. And like I said, we're not that far apart on most other things. But in
Well,
my
we are,
mind,
'cause
it
I didn't
would
vote for
be
Trump.
disqualifying. It would be disqualifying if there was a Democratic candidate that did not have an explicit plan for how to prevent cartels from moving millions of people here illicitly going forward. Do you have an idea of how that happens and how to keep it the way it is?
Yeah, I think technology would be probably one of the primary reasons. But I've asked you to tell me how Trump has done it, and you haven't been able to tell me, and you haven't given me a specific study. So I'm still waiting for both those things. How has Trump done it?
Seems like he's taken back control of the border. There's been the Remain
Okay, so
in
that
Mexico
I already said
policy.
I support
That's-
comprehensive border security, man. What do you want? Right? Are you saying that like Democrats don't propose?
You didn't say anything about Remain in Mexico. I just said Remain
Do
in Mexico.
Democrats
Is
propose
that-
plans to stop cartels from moving undocumented immigrants into the United States? Yeah, it's not like they ignore the issue, right? They advocate for advanced technology where it's effective, right? They advocate for increased staffing, right? They want to improve pay for Border Patrol agents, right? Modernizing
if someone,
ports of entry. Yeah, again, I already said I support comprehensive border security. I don't know what you're asking me anymore. You're saying your only issue is the border. Okay.
I'll ask you a really specific question. If someone comes to a port of entry and claims asylum, should we keep that person on the Mexico side of the border until it's adjudicated that it's a legitimate asylum claim, or should we bring that person into the interior of the country and determine if it was legitimate or illegitimate maybe years later?
So regardless, I mean, that's not the law. So they don't have to come through a port of entry, right? And they're allowed to seek asylum in the United States regardless of whether or not it was the first country they entered according to our laws. And that if it's determined that the country they came from before this country was safe and will protect their asylum process, then they are returned to that country. I don't have a problem with that. You don't know the law for asylum, my guy. Sorry, you don't know the law. You have a very surface level understanding of the law. I'm sorry. You do not understand asylum laws.
And with your tremendous understanding of asylum law,
is that you must be present in the United States. You must be present in the United States. I already explained it to you. I literally just explained it. If it's determined that the country you came from before the United States is safe and will protect that process, then yes, you absolutely will be returned to that country. But you're still allowed to seek asylum in the United States. You're not immediately removed, and you don't have to go through a port of entry. Both those things are wrong.
Okay, I accept that. With your tremendous understanding of immigration policy,
go be a smartass somewhere else, you fucking clown. With your tremendous understanding, how about you stop being such a smartass and acting like you know what you're talking about, and then maybe I'd be willing to have a conversation with you. With your tremendous understanding, you think you didn't even know the laws for asylum. You smartass. With your tremendous understanding, guy thinks you have to go through a port of entry to seek asylum in the United States. Well, you don't know the fucking law. Learn the law, you little creep. So many little pseudo-intellectuals today. Yes, always. Always. God, they're just so fucking wrong on everything. They're so wrong on everything. So wrong on everything. It's remarkable. No, this person said now he's just lying. Asylum seekers have to go through a port of entry. No, they don't. No, they don't. You can present at a port of entry as a way to claim asylum. You do not have to enter through a port of entry. That's a way to do it. That's a way to do it. You can cross between ports of entry and still be processed. You're just processed differently. You retain the right to request asylum even if you don't enter through a port of entry. Do your research. You don't know the law. You're mad because you don't know the law. Like, don't be mad at me. You're mad because you don't know the law. It's not my fucking fault. But don't come up here and say, from your tremendous understanding. God. Guys, do you love how many Trump supporters get fucking triggered in here, though? Dude, so many Trump supporters get triggered, man. This guy says, beginning to see why this guy has no channel growth. What are you talking about, bro? I literally started debating a week ago. No channel growth. God, these guys are funny. I think there's 300 paid subs on this channel. But keep thinking that. That's why you're a dork who nobody knows. Guys, I don't know the law, so I'm going to fucking be a smart ass. Listen, it's always the guys with truth in their name or 1776. It's always the guy who's with truth in their name or 1776. It's either truth or 1776 in the name. It's one of the two. I'll follow you from Canada. Thank you, Jules. I appreciate you. Listen, we got to connect. We got to connect because the MAGA Muppets are everywhere, man. The MAGA Muppets are everywhere. And we need all the people on the left to stick together. So if you want to join the fight with me, hit the subscribe button and we will stick together. You guys got to follow me on TikTok. I stream on TikTok every single morning. So if you guys don't watch me on TikTok, you got to stream every single morning. You. Aw, you learned a new word. Oh, honey. Did you learn a new word? He was just a smart old guy that just basically, he was a pseudo-smart old guy that basically was acting like a smartass because he didn't know the law. And when he got corrected, he started going, well, since you have a tremendous understanding, well, I'm sorry, I do know more than you. It's just a fact. You know, you don't know what you're talking about. This person says, what do you think about the elections in Chile on Sunday? Fascists will be taking over. Man, fascism is a global movement. Fascism is a global movement. Maple, MAGA, or bananas. I'll vote good debate anytime I enjoy conflict. Hey, well, listen, you know how it goes with these guys. How did you guys feel about Democrats caving? I wasn't happy about that either. Sir, Sue, and Matthew Ward, enjoying you today. I will definitely be back, just so you know. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Sue and Matthew, thank you so much. They are so confidently wrong. They have a lot of confidence. But they are definitely wrong. The most confident ones are usually the most wrong. You know. And listen, the truth is, do you know what fuels them? You know what fuels them? Hatred. When I see someone who's undocumented, or I see someone who is down on their luck or something, my immediate thought isn't, are they undocumented? Get rid of them. A lot of these people are soulless. And that's a fact. There is something different inside between you and those who vote for Trump. This is not just an issue of politics. This is an issue of empathy. This is an issue of sympathy. This is an issue of love and compassion for other people. That's what it is. These people don't have those qualities. They just don't. Shar, a.k.a. says, get a real job, dude. Okay, Shar. I'll get a real job, dude. Shar, don't you have anything better to do than troll a political streamer? I know. I wish the worst for Fetterman, man. He's a jerk. He really is a faker. I can't believe I ever advocated for that guy. I just think there's just a lot of evil people in the world, you know, and I think that, like, you start to realize that, and there's just a lot of hateful people. And look, we're not here for a long time, and I can't imagine spending my time hating other people, like hating less fortunate people. Can you create a plan that gets a good result at the border, tremendous one? No, absolutely not. I'm very smart. No, you're not, dude. I proved you wrong multiple times. You think you can only claim asylum by going through a port of entry. You're wrong. You don't even know how you seek asylum in the country. Adam, be fair and read your comments, mate. Both sides should be heard, mate. What? I'll read whatever comments I want, man. I have a lot of solid white friends from school. If I join them, I still have love for my... Well, yeah, I'm just saying, people should not hate on people for being less fortunate. The billionaire class in our government has attempted to indoctrinate you to believe that poor people are the reason that you're poor, or poor people are the reason that, you don't have a lot of money in your bank, or all of your problems are the fault of poor or undocumented people. They're not the reason that you're dealing with these issues. They're just not.
Call from
Quentin.
to accept.
Quentin, are you a Trump supporter?
I am.
And why do you support Trump, Quentin?
Oh, well.
Hurry up. I didn't realize it's a slate, but go ahead. I got limited time. Go ahead.
Of course.
Guys, I would
say
appreciate
between our two political
hitting the thumbs up button.
Between our two political options, between Biden and Trump would be our strongest option, seeing as, he's not a child diddler.
Trump isn't? Is that why he's hiding the Epstein files right now?
Yes. Well, I'm aware that he has some
so Trump
some
actually
appearance in
Trump
those,
actually is the child diddler, right? He's the one that's actually hiding the Epstein files right now, right?
Well, no, absolutely. But regarding Biden and Hunter Biden and all of that, there's.
Can you provide me one piece of evidence that Biden has done anything like that?
Hunter Biden's laptop and the multiple payments given to him by, Hunter Biden.
There was nothing
for
to do.
quote-unquote rent.
There was no PDF file accusations related to Hunter Biden's laptop.
Well, it's been brought up multiple times.
No, it hasn't. And Hunter Biden's not an elected official. What are you talking
about?
Well,
no, by no means, but the son of an elected official,
And he hasn't. There's no accusations of Hunter Biden being a PDF. What are you talking about?
A pedophile, yes.
No, there isn't. What are you talking about?
There most definitely is.
Okay, give me one source right now.
All right.
I'll wait.
Hunter Biden pedophilia. NBC 10.
Okay, what does it say?
CDS.
Cool. What does it say? Tell me what it says. Read it. He ran. That's what I thought. The funniest thing is when you say that's the reason that you support Trump, yet Trump is the person refusing to release the Epstein files. I think that's kind of weird, bud. But okay. Have a good one. Oh, man. There's no PDF file accusations. Listen, Trump supporters, you're not allowed to use that accusation anymore after everything that Trump has done with this Epstein stuff. It's just not. You're just not allowed to anymore. Yeah, he went to go read the article and saw that there was no article, or it said the opposite. All right, everybody. It's kind of late. I'm going to hop off here. I don't know if I'll be back on or not. You never know, but I don't think so. Maybe, but tomorrow at least. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Would appreciate you guys supporting in the link tree in my bio if you guys do watch every single day and you enjoy the content. If you watch it while you're at work and I help you get through your work day, whatever the case is, would appreciate your support to keep going. We are new on YouTube. We just started debating over here. Would appreciate subscribing. I'm going to try and build a channel over here seriously now. So I would appreciate subscribing, hitting the bell, all of that. You guys can also support on Patreon and join our Discord. If you go to Patreon and the link tree in my bio, you can actually join my Discord. And that's where I usually am when I'm not live streaming. If you guys want to chat with me and others off of here. And I'm on TikTok mainly. If you go to my TikTok, there's a page with 150,000 followers. That's where I stream on TikTok normally. This person says, I watched this whole live. Awesome. Appreciate you, dude. Appreciate you. Watch the whole live. Thank you so much. All right, I love you guys. Have a wonderful day. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will see you soon. Guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell. We have a lot of political stuff coming. And I'm going to absolutely start implementing some videos as a part of this content. I have some ideas for some political videos. I don't want to go into detail on what they are because I don't want someone else to do them. But I'm telling you guys, you'll love these videos when they start coming out. So I'm not leaving TikTok. I'm staying on TikTok, but I'm just expanding a little bit. So I appreciate you guys. All right. Thank you so much to everybody who supported. I really, really appreciate and am thankful for your support. Couldn't do without you. Take care, everybody.